All right, y'all. We are on episode 3 of the Afro Summit podcast.
But you gonna have us fighting in the you gonna have us fighting when we go to the Africa, but then but like you calling us Africans, man?
Oh my gosh. My bad. My bad. I'm still waking up. I'm your host, Nich Jones, Sir Nicholas, as you see on the screen here. Welcome to the summit. We got Dreams, uh, Muse, and Usual Business in the house tonight or today. Shit. What time is it out there for you, Dreams? Is it AM or PM?
It's AM. It's still morning, but it's about to be noon in a few.
Oh, okay. Because it's 9:17 a.m. on this side. So cool. So this is funny because the person who suggested the talking points that we're going over today isn't even on the panel. So I guess it's just gonna be us.
Hey man, what you expecting, bro? You know, black folk they gonna be late to everything. If they could be late to their own funeral, we probably would, man.
Absolutely hysterical. Cool. So well, hold on. Let me see who's in that's Muse in the private chat. All right. So we're discussing today location. And we got two talking points that we're going to go over. And I got one right here. Do Africans have a desire to move to Western countries?
I'm gonna speak for that. I would like to have
Are you
fresh crack at that.
Are you speaking for them? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna speak for them. On this one, yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna be the one to jump up in front of the bullet.
Well, you should let Muse.
I don't want to hear the side of the story too. Malcolm, you're speaking first, like I don't have a representative.
Nah, Muse. Huh? You ain't got nothing to say. You ain't got nothing to say. Your job is here to sit here and look cute today.
No, that's not going to work like that. You won't work like that. Nick, do you agree with what Malcolm is saying?
I do not. I want to hear from I want to actually hear from someone from the continent.
And he thinks he knows everything. Wait.
Exactly. Have to hear from.
I've been to other countries though. I've been to other countries.
Nah, but I'm going to be speaking for Africa. I'm here to speak for them though.
Okay, all right then.
Okay, but you can go first though.
Okay, now this is my opinion. Like you said, it's my name is Usual Business, and it's business as usual, right? But what I have to say that do most Africans want to come to the United States in particular or Western countries? The answer is yes. There are plenty, if given the opportunity to come to the United States, right, to do work, to do business, to get and make money. I think most Africans would jump at the chance of that because why not? It's beautiful. Apply this technology is good over here. The money is good over here. The ease of life is okay. I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but it's okay. The only thing you really have to worry about is crazy white people and bad weather from time to time. Other than that, that's the only two bad things you really got to deal with in the West, right? So if you got your own community and you basically got your own stuff together, living in the West ain't that bad. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. People try to make it seem like it's all evil. It's not that bad, but that's in my opinion.
Well, what I'll say is I don't know if I should consider my country as a Western country, but it's in the West. But in terms of moving from my country to America or Europe, nah, it would be a no for me because one, the weather. So for the same reasons that you make as the exception, one, the weather is bad, and two, I was taught a lot of civic pride in my country and my culture. While I acknowledge that we have more opportunities if we move further north to the United States or certain European countries, at a personal level, I wouldn't desire to move to such countries. In saying that, nah, not to live. To be a tourist, but to live, nah, bro.
I mean, I don't know, but we get you out. I mean, it's a lot of Jamaicans out there in what is it? In Florida right now. We call little Florida, we call that little Jamaica, little Haiti over here, basically.
Well, I mean, more land for me here. I wouldn't be opposed to having a house in Florida, but apart from Florida, going further north, probably not. And then Florida people do some crazy things as well. But in terms of like totally living in America, I would have to give up a lot in Jamaica currently to live full time in America. So that's the thing there. It's not the same situation for everyone here though. Some people here don't have it as good as me. So it will be preferable for them to move to somewhere like a Florida or New York. But for me at a personal level, no. While I acknowledge that most people would have to move to get opportunities.
Yeah, I think I would also agree with Big Dreams. If I had an opportunity of wanting to like go to the Western world, honestly, nah, I wouldn't want to go there. It's just something to do with the weather. I don't like the coldness. I mean, the time when I was at school, I had really hard time having to deal with the coldness over the winter. It gets too cold. I'm not used to that kind of life. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely say that the coldness will definitely beat your ass. Cause I think right now, technically, it's 60 degrees right now in my state, and I'm like, ooh, it's starting to get cold
Hold on,
out
hold
here.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. We don't understand what you mean by 60 degrees, bro, because we use Celsius here. So what's that in Celsius? I'm thinking that you're talking Fahrenheit because 60 degrees here is like twice burning point or boiling point or whatever you
Nah,
call
we
it. So
talking
60
Fahrenheit.
degrees is really hot.
We talking Fahrenheit. Hold
Yeah,
on,
so I'm
I gotta
saying
translate
like,
that over. I gotta translate that over. Give me a second.
yeah, translate for me.
What is the normal body temperature of a person?
Like here, when it's hot here, it's 30 degrees. When it's extremely hot in Jamaica, it's 30 degrees. When it's 26 degrees or so forth, it's temperate, cool, bearable. Anything below like 20 degrees is kind of cold for us. But in America, it goes from like 0 degrees all the way up until where it stops, I guess. Because it gets extremely hot in America. Sometimes you get heat stroke, and other times it's freezing.
All
But
right,
when he
so
says 60
yeah,
degrees, it's different from me.
so 6 degrees is like 140 Fahrenheit. So I don't know what that means for y'all, but 60 degrees.
Nah, you have 60 degrees Celsius where you are now?
Yeah, yeah. I said this. I'm looking at it. Degrees Celsius. I put
Really?
60. I put 60, right? So maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I got it
Nah,
backwards.
you're doing it wrong. You should put it like 60 degrees Fahrenheit and see how much that is in Celsius. That's what you
Okay,
should
yeah,
do.
not bad. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
15 then.
Convert it,
It's 15. It's
convert it
15%.
from
Yeah,
Celsius.
15.
Okay.
So that's really, really cold. My country never gets that cold. It hardly gets that cold. 15
What
degrees is
really? Oh, bro,
never,
you
never
finna
gets
make
I
it
that
think
out here
cold.
then.
I think in Uganda the elevation that gets really that cold is this mountain, the highest mountain in Uganda. That's the only
Yeah,
time when
but
you
the
can
thing,
experience.
Jamaica doesn't have mountains that high as Uganda, so would hardly. It will be a very strange event, very unusual event for Jamaica to get 15 degrees is very stretching it.
Oh, so y'all they're living in paradise then.
That's what it
Nick,
sounds like.
yeah,
So
it's
it,
not. I'm
Exactly.
telling you,
That's why I
what
have
is
no
we
what
the
is
desire
dangerous
to
ones,
come
bro.
one
that
second.
far,
So,
bro.
so do you guys actually have seasons in Jamaica?
No, we have the wet season and we have the dry season. That's the only two seasons we have. We don't have Easter's. We have spring in a sense that we plant things and they grow, but not in the sense that you guys have spring. We don't have autumn. We don't have winter, but we celebrate all the holidays. So we call it winter, but it's not in actuality winter or autumn or so forth. We just call it that, but it's not practical.
Yeah, it's something with us here. We only have like wet and dry seasons. During the wet season is mostly when people are planting their crops. The dry season is when they're like harvesting most of it. But
Yeah,
we don't
it's
have.
the same for me.
I
Same
think
for
that
me.
the only time we have winter is no.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't want to get too far off track with the original talking point here. And because we only have one person from the motherland that can actually speak to this, um, the talking point, if you will.
Oh, I was
Uh,
about to say something.
okay, let me get this out real quick. I was gonna ask Muse, like, why does she think, Africans have the desire to move to Western countries? And then in addition, are there Africans that also, on the other hand, don't have any desire to move over to a Western country?
Okay.
There are actually really many reasons as to why most of the Africans would really desire
What
to
would be
move to
like
the
the top?
Western.
What would be like the top three?
Better life, better
The top
money.
three, the first is employment.
Okay.
Employment. to make the lives
Better healthcare.
better healthcare, better education, and then to some extent, if you want to like get married outside of Africa,
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm gonna add a few more.
Mm.
Better healthcare, better movies, because Lord knows, because Nollywood out here doing us bad right now with these goddamn movies, man. Like I can't watch none of Nollywood
Nigerians,
movies. I can't. I'm
Nigerians will
sorry.
stand for you talking about their movies.
Hey, they can
Anyway,
come fight me in the streets. I'll be there. I'll be there soon in their country. They can come fight me in the street on this one. But even they know they
uh,
movies, no, are horrible. The healthcare in most African countries are deplorable, in my opinion. In my opinion, right? What
mm.
else? What else I'm gonna say? Like you said, access to a job,
Employment too.
employment,
Access to
employment.
job, yeah.
Like getting
Yep.
a job in Africa is the equivalent. That is the greatest Easter egg hunt in the world. Like I promise you, like you have a better chance of basically trying to complete a video game blindfolded than getting a job in Africa. I'm so serious.
And not necessarily that. It's just that I don't know when it comes to like it still goes down right to the way how they marketed your countries. They marketed your countries so well, and everybody knows like America is the greatest place where you can make it. If you want to live the greatest life, America is where you have to go. Oh, where Europe? Most people I think would actually prefer going to Europe and America than they would want to go to China and Dubai. But maybe because of some circumstances whereby they are maybe desperate, is when they'll consider going to the Arab countries with factors that are involved because like getting a visa to these Arab countries like Dubai, for example, is much more simpler than getting an American visa. There are high chances of you even actually applying for that visa. They call you down for an interview for like 8 months and then it gets rejected. It's a whole process. It
Mm.
applies both to UK and USA too, but it still rotates around that whole factor of wanting to get employed so that well you can have better standards of living because when you look at the way how the media is influenced, you find that people are actually having good lives in the United States. But of course, that is the media, the way how the media will portray it. They don't know that there's actually something way behind that. You get because you know me who has at least traveled, I know what goes on in those countries. It's not as it seems when it's showed on TV. We know how people live on credit in those
Hmm.
countries, but people who focus more on TV or television don't know that. They just see, ah, wow, they have a big house. Ah, wow, this is something that I want. This is something that I want for my kids. I don't really
It's a
care.
fine
Maybe
print.
I could get,
Muse, I think what you
exactly.
should say is
And
a
then
fine print.
yeah, and then also when you look into maybe some of the history, I'm going to talk in reference to like people from South Africa. You remember South Africa is this country that had apartheid from 1948 to it stopped in 1994. You get and
Mm.
they used to watch TVs a lot, and there used to be shows where the common shows were Fresh Prince. I've explained this before. Fresh
Right.
Prince of Bel Air, different strokes. You find that okay, you're seeing African Americans are elevating, African Americans are living the good life. Like is it Philly Banks and stuff and all those guys? So they're like, wow, these people are actually making it out there despite suffering. Me, who is living here in Africa and I'm being oppressed, why don't I just go there and have a good life for myself other than living under the apartheid system? So it's something that makes them want to go out. Mostly the focus is to see how much they can be able to make better lives for themselves. That's why they look
Mm.
forward to it. Hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
true. I'll agree with everything that Muse is saying. The main reason why Jamaicans come to America is because of like reality TV, like MTV Cribs. They see a lifestyle, they see the ads on TV, a lot of the amenities that America has, like the Walmart, the Target, the Gap, the stores. Jamaican people love shopping, buying nice clothes, spending a lot of money, and it's a bit about status as well. You have a better quality of life when you go to, and according to them, when you go to those countries. Before it was England, every Jamaican was going to England because they were former colonies, and there was a thing called the Windrush generation where they wanted workers to man factories post World War II, do the jobs that pay less. But when we go to those countries like America or England and do the work and we bring back that currency here, what you couldn't afford in England, you can basically live your entire life with. When you convert the currency here, you can buy houses, more than one. You can buy cars. You can basically retire after working probably a decade in the United States or England. So I assume that it would be a similar thing in Africa. If you go to one of those countries and you bring back the currency to your respective African country, you can be relatively well off versus working the same amount of time within your country. So that's a main pull factor for migration and brain drain from African countries as well.
I got something to say. I'm gonna be the resident bad guy today. I'm gonna let that be known. But yeah, I'm letting that be known today, right? So for me, I know a lot of people come to America, right? They see the opportunities, but like I said, most people don't know the sacrifices that was made for those opportunities to quote unquote be there, right? They just see, oh my God, opportunity. All I gotta do is just get over there, right? But the good thing is about America, like I can tell you, the technology here is top notch, top of the one. Top. I think we do have some of the best schools in the world. Only schools I think that probably have better schools than here than in the U.S. I'm talking about legitimately good schools. Probably would be some of the Japanese schools that they have. If you actually talking about just pure everyday entertainment slash wealth of knowledge that you can absorb and how they teach it to you, I would definitely say America's top notch for that. Because in most, let's say, African countries, there is no the teacher don't let you speak your mind. You can't talk back to the teacher and say, "What about this?" or "What about that?" You can't question the teacher. In America, you can actually question the teacher and ask them, "Is that right?" You try that in an African country, you're going to get beat with a stick, right? So the difference is in America, they actually challenge you to open your mind, where in most countries and most culture, not cultures, but countries, they have a closed mindset of I can't go outside this box. I can't go outside
Hold
this
on,
mentality.
bro. I can't allow you to continue like that, right? I have to interject
Yeah.
as someone that
Yeah,
was in the education system. As someone that was in the
yeah.
education system, I have to interject. So that was a time when I'm growing up, I used to get the cane as well, beaten. But now it's everyone is at the level where we have technologies. My primary school was one of the first schools in Jamaica to had computer, so I was a computer baby. The prime minister at the time flew a helicopter and landed in my school and opened the computer laboratory. So we're born in all the cutting edge of the IT age, right? So that's you're talking from a time where that's not what reflects now. In terms of the education system in Jamaica versus America, ours have more critical thinking and more knowledge from what I hear from the teachers that migrate to America. The point that you made that they agree with, though, that they have more freedom to question teachers. In Jamaica, it's more like they're lecturing to you and telling you how it should be. But since I became a teacher just about 6 years ago, it's more critical thinking and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So now, since the last decade, it's more critical thinking skills. But in terms of the amount of content and knowledge of global affairs, um, not just Caribbean content and Caribbean history, Jamaica has America beat by a solid country mile, bro. In terms of
I'm gonna
at the
tell you this
primary
way.
school, hold on, hold
Wait,
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. In terms of
okay,
at
go
the
ahead.
primary school and high school levels, when it comes down to college and universities, I will give the American Ivy League institutions that though. But in terms of primary school education and high school education, I bet you our standard of education is higher than in the United States, bro. I can tell you that much.
Nah, I don't know, bro. You gotta come out here and see what we doing now. I mean, right now we got iPads in every kid hand. So like literally by the age of think about it, Nick. I'm gonna ask you a question, right? Like
We have
most
it too,
kids that
bro.
and I said like your average 5-year-old can work an iPhone. By the time that kid is 6 years old or 7 years old, that kid can work a computer by now. By the time that child get 15, that child going to be a computer whiz, right?
But
Because
what I'm saying to you, Mike, what I'm saying to you, usual business, right? My daughter also has a tablet and she does all of those type of things, right? But when
uh-huh.
you say African countries are not up to that, what I'm telling you that my government instills a tablet in schools policy that every child has to have
Where they getting that
a
policy from
device.
though? I'm saying
No,
they're getting
it's
that
a
out of
global
this too,
world.
though.
It's a global world. It's a fourth industrial revolution. It's not indigenous to America. It's like we're in a global village, bro. Right? We all have that same thing. When we go to college, is that we're in a global village, and because of the thing they call globalization, we all develop basically at the same speed. All right, let me show you an example. A country like America that has already been through like industrial revolution, it will be harder for you to transition into adapting renewables versus a country like Niger that doesn't have that same infrastructure built out. If they were to transition to renewables, it would be cheaper for that country to catch up to the global standard. So in that context, everyone will be catch up to the same level as soon as they get the infrastructure in place. So
I
in
mean,
terms
that's
of tablets
true.
in school, we all have it, bro.
That's
Not
true,
all,
but
but
I
there are
mean,
some
when
countries
you
that
build
adapt
from
that, bro.
nothing, though, but when you're building from nothing, it's kind of easy to get to at least 100, though, right?
Exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. So in terms of the education systems, I'm thinking that depending on your individual country, you're on the same level as America or even more, bro, because our tests, our examinations are very difficult. Right now, if I give you a grade six test from Jamaica, you probably will fail it, bro. I'm telling you,
Oh,
I'm not trying
really?
to be
Are you
disrespectful. No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I
are you
probably would
smarter
fail it
than
as well.
are
No,
you
I
smarter
probably listen.
than yo?
I probably would fail it as well, bro. Trust me. You get one question and it has four parts, and if you don't understand the question, you'll fail. And you have to think critically. You have to think with a scientific brain. You'd have to have a hypothesis. You'd have to have the proper methodology. That's sixth grade.
Okay, sixth grade. Are you smarter than a
Okay,
sixth grader? We
sixth
got
grade.
that show out here in America though. But I'm gonna let Muse speak. You got something to say?
Yeah, I had to explain to you about how the education system in Africa came about. This is a colonial curriculum we use, especially in the primary side. When it goes back way back to when these British came. And they came first as missionaries. When they came as missionaries, they constructed schools. You get, but as they constructed schools, they wanted, because they couldn't understand the languages spoken, they wanted people to learn how to speak English first. Now, as they was making the people learn how to speak English, they used to use what? Beatings, canes, hitting them. Learn English, They used to whip, like whipping kids. They used to do that, and then they also used to make black people cut their hair off. You get? I think it was just a way to make them look unattractive. So they would cane the kids,
True.
and that thing they has stuck. It has stuck, and what pains me mostly is that most of maybe the teachers don't really question it. They don't question it so much that to this day it's still ongoing. It's just now a few schools that have stopped that habit of wanting to cane children, and also tried encouraging them to keep their natural hair. Because I recently took back my nieces to school, and there was a teacher who was fired. She was fired, I think, for beating the hell out of this kid. The kid asked a question, and I think there's something that went on in there, and she got a stick and beat this kid. The kid reported her, and she got fired. Things are changing. They're not like how they used to be maybe like 20 years ago, because even like right now, when you look at like the primary curriculum of Uganda specifically, it's a very useless curriculum, I would say. It doesn't make kids question things. It does not make kids also. It doesn't make you. I wouldn't say make you think. It makes you
Nah,
remember stuff.
Oh, you're saying it's just
Yeah,
record. We used to be like that as well. It's just like you study something and you know the answer and you just swap the test papers and stuff like that
exactly,
and you just recall.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah. We were like that as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've been to
However, I think
Uganda
a few
schools
years.
though. That's what I'm saying. I've been there. Like it's like Ugandan education is like at least with primary school. I can't say for like the college level because I didn't go to the colleges and look around. But the primary school, the stuff that they were teaching was it was backwards information. It was information that's
It,
gonna definitely make sure you can't get
when you
no
talk of
job before
backwards,
then.
what do you say? What do you talk about when you say backwards? When you say backwards information, give me an example of what you're talking about.
Okay, all right. So I'm watching. I'm sitting into one of the classes. Right, I'm just looking from outside the window into the class. Right. So not only we're not going to add the fact that quote unquote they allowed me to watch, but we're not going to get to that part. Right. So I'm watching the instructor give lesson. He was like, okay, well, this duck has web feet. class, how does this duck have webbed feet? Now it was a multiple answer question, right? I think he gave like 4 or 5 answers. One answer was like adaptation for swimming in the water. Another one said, quote unquote, what is it? Just have big feet. The other one said something else, whatever, right? And the other one was like, it said something else. I can't remember the third answer, right? The fourth answer. The teacher said, "Oh yeah, it just has big feet." That's the no. What did he say? He said, because of God, right? He said because God willed it to have that. And
But
I'm sitting
Malcolm,
there,
Malcolm, hold on. Yeah, I'm getting what you're saying, but the teacher is wrong. That the question is perfect though. That's the specific teacher because the actual answer is to adapt with water. So you can't blame the education system for that one teacher that has his personal agenda though, because that teacher is probably like a theologian or something, bro. So he's gonna have his biases, which is a point to say that the education system has too much biased teachers, but that's nothing to do with the structure that is laid out. The correct answer is actually web feet, and someone like me would have challenged that teacher and would probably get reprimanded for it because when I was in
yeah,
college, I was told
I did
that
the same. I did the same, but
exactly.
I'm saying,
And what did
but
he
I'm looking at
say?
it like this though. No, not dream. I'm looking at this right, like this way. If this is the teacher, this is the person who's going to be molding the next generation into what you need them to be, right? And you basically, instead of necessarily looking at the directions clearly, concisely, going through, breaking it down piece by piece, at what you said, critical thinking skills. He said, put it to Jesus.
Well, to a lesser extent, I'll tell you that most teachers aren't like that smart, bro. That's just honest. I've been a teacher. I collaborated with teachers at seminars and stuff. Most teachers aren't. You don't want them teaching your children, to be honest. You have to take your children's education in your hands, bro. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. So sometimes, even me as a teacher, sometimes we don't know something, and because of our egos, we pretend to know. When the better thing is to get the right way, because some children, if they learn the thing wrong the first time, they won't ever unlearn that because of
Yeah,
autism and
exactly.
other mental disabilities. So the best thing to do is to find out how to actually approach a situation than to just give an answer. And the reason why we do that is because we don't want to seem as if we don't know. That's what most teachers do. To just say
I think
something random.
I think when it comes to like Africa's education system, I would focus mostly in the primary section, that age bracket of 8 to 13 mostly, because when I had to look through that curriculum the second time again, honestly, the curriculum is really not good. It has something that is lacking because now you see, for example, let me give an example. There is a question, there is a level that we reach. I think it's like level 5. I don't know what that is over there. It's called primary 5. It's maybe fifth grade. There's a topic where we start learning about colonialists, like the people that came here and what they discovered. They teach those whites as the kind that discovered these places. And yet, like, some of these areas had already existed way long before they had even come and discovered that place. For example, there's this famous guy, he's called John Huntington Speak. He traveled all the way from, I think, England, and he came to the source of the Nile. When he came to the source of the Nile, he met that area. There's a tribe called the Basoga people. The Basoga people who live in that area directed him to where the source of the Nile is, but he wasn't the one who discovered the source of the Nile. You get what they would probably have put in that curriculum would be John Huntington Speak was the first European tourist to visit the source of the Nile, but not to discover the source of the Nile. Because trust me, I grew up thinking I was like, okay, maybe these whites weren't really bad at all. They came, they did what they did, but at the end of the day, they helped at least change things. But not realizing that each time they came and they kept changing, because when he came and he saw that place, he changed the name. He changed the name. He first named
Muse,
it, is it Ripon
Muse.
Falls?
Fool me
Yeah,
once, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you can't fool me again. Listen, that they did the same thing
exactly.
with us in the West as well. They said Christopher Columbus discovered North and South America. He didn't even step foot on the North American continent. That's the first thing. Second thing is he came here, he saw people here with greater civilizations than back home in Portugal or Spain or Italy or wherever he was from, because at that time the Europeans were going through a dark ages and they were expanding. When they came to the West, they saw the Aztec Empire, the Mayan Empire, and the Inca Empire, and they claim to have discovered the new world because we're learning history from the colonialist perspective. So for them, the known world was just Europe and parts of the Middle East. So for them, that is a new world, and we regurgitate that and we call it that he discovered this part of the world that we were.
Yeah,
There is, I'm not sure if
as
you follow
this,
cricket. You follow cricket?
I
The
follow
game
what?
of cricket.
Okay. Cricket, yeah, there's a
Yeah,
sport
I
that
don't
we
follow.
got from England called cricket. So this region
I
in the Caribbean, they call it the West Indies. And we still call it the West Indies today because Christopher Columbus thought he was in the west of India. So these things are still taught in our schools today. And we know better though, because we have critical thinking skills. But do we remove it from our curriculums? No, we don't. We still teach that Christopher Columbus discovered the New World in
America.
what? In 1492 or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I do have something to say about that because I even looked at it like what is it to the map recently, and I just keep seeing it, but like the Indian Ocean, but then the Indian Ocean will be all the way in Africa, and I'd be like, wait a minute, when did the Indian? I'm like, when did the Indian Ocean mean the whole eastern side of Africa? I'm like, if anything, that should be the East African Ocean or something like that. At least something
That's
different.
true. I agree. I agree. I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because like claiming the whole as you said, like was it ocean, which is neutral territory for every group that you know, any person who needs to travel there, right? But you call it the Indian Ocean, which is crazy. But you're right on that. Definitely need to be
So
corrected, and things like that do need to be corrected throughout the educational system.
all right, I got a question. Because I don't want us to get so first off, I want to say this real quick. Oh, we got mental agility here, and we actually have Anna in the backstage too, but I don't know. Should I bring her up?
Let it go. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not.
I'm gonna wait until her. I can't bring her up right now because I guess her mic and her cam isn't connected, but she's definitely backstage.
Yeah, you can
Men,
bring her.
oh, okay. One second.
Bring her up
Mental.
because we need two Africans in here.
You guys, hold on. I'm gonna bring her up, but she's her mic and her cam isn't connected to her laptop or her phone or whatever. So I actually can't bring her up right now. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Okay,
give her
cool.
a minute. Give her a minute. She'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah. So mental, what's going on, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you? Can you hear me all
Awesome.
right?
Yes, everybody's audio. A round of applause for everybody and their audio today. Everybody's audio is on point, clean. There's no feedback. This is beautiful. So, okay, so what I wanted to say was I don't want us to get because the main topic right now is do Africans have a desire to move to Western countries? And I love the fact that you guys have delved into the educational what's the word I'm looking for? The educational element of the reasoning ship as to or the reasoning as to why some Africans have that desirability. So I'll ask you this, Muse, and then Mental, go ahead and chime in. We definitely want to get your take on the the talking point at hand. Seeing how this is one that these talking points that we're going over today are the ones that you presented. So we definitely want to get your take on these. Let me go ahead and cam up, by the way.
Yeah, this man came out here in a three-piece suit almost. Boy, I was like, go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, go ahead, Muse.
Well,
I'll tell the background story behind that.
okay, let me ask her this question real quick. So, Muse, with all of the well-educated, folk within, within Africa, right? Why hasn't some sort of union for the education system out there? Why hasn't that been bolstered and strengthened? For the respective countries within
Jesus
Africa.
Christ.
They don't care.
I'm
I don't.
ignorant, so I don't know. That's why I'm asking the questions because I honestly don't know.
Well, if
So,
Muse doesn't know, I can definitely answer. So go ahead, Muse.
well, Dreams, hold on, because she's actually like
What's the
on the
question? What's the question?
hold on. What she's actually like she lives on the continent, so I would like to hear what she has to say on the matter. But I'm sure you have something to contribute to that as well. The question, Muse, is with all of the well-educated folk within Africa, right? why hasn't some sort of union
Yeah.
for the education system out there been bolstered and strengthened for for those respective countries in Africa to have, like, educational institutions, um for you guys to benefit from, rather than, like you had mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why Africans desire to move to, like, Europe or America is because of, education, a better form of education, right? So I'm just wondering why, where's the disconnect, and why is the education system out there lacking? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask.
That's the education system is lacking because there's a lack of reforms in the education sector. Because even after realizing that some of these, I don't know if you've noticed, but most of the times when people even finalize education, you give it like about 2 to 3 years, people forget what they studied. So why the hell did you waste over 20 years at school in the first place? Yeah, you become an engineer. I mean, you study engineering, but you can't even build a car. You can't build a car in that. You can't do anything. Like, you call yourself, oh, I'm an engineer, I'm a civil engineer, mechanical engineer, but you can't even build anything. It just has to
Oh,
do. People are just not. It's something to do with this organization, or people not really caring, especially those who are maybe like in the ministries. All they care about is probably making money. There are those who are actually really trying so much. Like, of a school in Kenya that is promoting Afrocentric curriculum. I'll get the name and I'll share with you. I did some research on it.
okay.
Uh, I think I've shared the what the curriculum with you guys before. I've shared the curriculum with you guys before in the group chat.
Okay. Yeah. That would be
What they
dope.
focus on the Afrocentric, yeah, it is something that is going on, but I would say it is something that is way more slow than fast. You get? Because it's
Okay.
like a lot of even people benefit from people being miseducated. You do realize when people are miseducated, you can easily control them.
That's true. That's true.
Is exactly. I'm gonna be the person. I'm like I said. I'm gonna be the resident pot stirrer today. But um, people they love the people dumb. Like the government there, they love the people dumb. The people. I'm not gonna say all of them. Some people take pride in being not knowing. Me, on the other hand, I gotta know everything about everything. That's just my personality. Me, I'm real. I don't know. Maybe that's Americanness in me, or maybe that's just my natural instinct. But
It's
I
not
gotta know.
American in you. There are a lot of things out there. There are lots of things to learn from people. And what is the benefit of not wanting to learn those things in the first place? It's just people just don't want to have a certain thought process. Because you can't come and tell me John Huntington's Peak came and discovered Lake Victoria and named it Lake Victoria, or discovered Victoria Falls and named it Victoria Falls. What was the name before that place? And then you want me to just believe it, and then I pass on the legacy to the kids in the future, and then it goes on like that, without questioning why they had to name. That queen has never come to those places. They just named
I have a
it
question though.
just,
But like I have a
yeah.
question. If you ask the average Ugandan, like let's say the average Ugandan or the average Kenyan on the street, hey, do you want to open up a business, or what are you thinking about opening up the business? I've been to the country. There's some people now. The Kenyans on one hand, they are definitely more business acclimated to business than most Africans that I've met, right? But if you ask the average Ugandan, what you want to do, create a business, they'll look at you funny. They look at you funny and keep moving. Am I lying or am I telling the truth?
How many people have you met? How many people did you ask that question?
Okay, if you had to compare like the average Ugandan, like their business acumen, like their willingness to get into business, their willingness or educational level also of doing business. If you came there and asked them, "Hey, what business is what you want to control? What business you want to get into?" The average Ugandan wouldn't even care or wouldn't even look at what business. Um, they wouldn't even care. They'd be like, "Oh, I got my boda. I'm doing good. I got a little bit. I may have a little bit of land. I'm fine. I got my matoke here every couple of days. I get my matoke. I'm fine." They don't care to even look into other aspects of life.
Not Malcolm, there are many people in this place, and every person has different perspectives on how they view things. I mean, there are those that view things differently, but I don't know if you came across a certain group of people who would love to work together with you. That's why I'm asking, how many people did you encounter who wanted to do business with you? a person you go and you be like, hey, I want to set up a hardware shop. I mean, if you came up to me and you told me, hey, Muse, I want to set up a hardware shop right now in this particular region. I mean, this particular location. And I would think about it and I'd be like, but wait, there are very many hardware shops. You've been to Uganda, you've seen how many hardware shops are in Uganda. Like, there are very many in every particular place. Why would you want to again set it up over here? And yet there are very many. Can't you like come up with a much better idea other than that? You see, people coming all the way from America saying, I want to come to Africa and I set up an agriculture sector. 76% of Ugandans depend on agriculture. You get, and you as a foreigner, you're coming to Africa and you still want to depend on agriculture. There are other sectors you can focus on. There is
Oh,
service industry, there is the manufacturing industry, something at least tech, tech is it technology best? Because agriculture, people depend on agriculture so much, and a lot of them do. And people are kind of like trying to focus more on value addition of some of these agricultural products, especially the coffee. I don't know if you've seen the Indiro coffee,
yeah, I seen it. I seen the coffee.
among others.
Can I add?
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
one of the
say,
things.
can you? Because we got new
Yeah.
panelists. Hold on 1 second. I gotta fix
Yeah,
that.
block that, please. Ooh, that's loud.
Okay, so
Yeah, I think it's
Muse,
coming
can
from
you?
Muse.
Yeah, can you mute your mic, Muse? Because you got feedback.
So while she's doing that, so I think the biggest
Nick,
issue
muted,
that
muted.
I mean,
you might have
Muse,
to.
can you? Thank you. All right,
All
go
right, so
ahead, Ben.
I think the biggest issue that when it comes to starting businesses in certain areas in Africa have to do with economics, right? It's easy to start up a business, but the next question is who are you going to sell to? You know, everybody doesn't have money out of thin air, So I think the that's the reason why there's so many people in Uganda and in Kenya and other places that are getting into the market of digital, right? So they're starting podcasts, they're doing streams and all this stuff, trying to generate revenue that's going to be pulled in from other countries, getting eyeballs on their content. So another American entity like YouTube will be able to give them money for the streams that they're doing that's generating YouTube revenue. So at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of the reasons why people like in Uganda that don't believe in having a business is because a lot of them are unfortunate financially, and they know there's a lot of other people that are unfortunate. So it's kind of discouraging when it's like, who am I going to sell to? And a lot of people don't see a bigger vision of selling outside of their city, let alone their country. So I think that's one aspect that we tend to ignore when we talk about starting businesses is the economic approach of it, if that makes
Okay,
sense.
okay.
But when you look at it, usual business, most people worldwide are not inclined to start business. Like majority people either wants to run a small business as a solo entrepreneur or wants to be an employee. Very few people. It's just the 2% or probably the 3% of people that want to be investors or have a large enterprise in terms of mindset. So it's more than just a local thing to say Ugandans. You will have in any population a few people that would be inclined to run businesses. Even in countries that don't promote business and entrepreneurship, those people just leave and go to a place where they can practice free enterprise because of their mindset. So it's not local to Uganda, though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know
I was
though, man.
only using Uganda because that's what businesses usual business reference. So I mean I feel you, Big Dream. Like as far as there's other countries, hell, there's places in America that or cities in America where like what they say 80% of businesses they fail on their first attempt. I mean that's a pretty big gap, and that explains the the value you bring to the market. Maybe what you're bringing to the market, the market didn't value it, so your business tanks. And this is an area where there are plenty jobs, even if they're jobs that don't give fair wages. Those are jobs that are available over in the continent. That there's advent poverty where there aren't even jobs. Like jobs have to be created. So imagine you in a country where jobs have to be created, as opposed to a country where the jobs are already there. People just choose not to work them, and your business still fail. You got a higher chance of your business failing on the continent than in the United States.
Yeah, that's true. Like most businesses in my country fail in the first 5 years, but that's the thing with business though. You'd have to adapt to being an entrepreneur. It's not like a job where at the end of the month or the fortnight you're guaranteed a paycheck. With business, you'll have to definitely have experience in business. So sometimes you'll have to fail like 5 times before you're successful. And it's not necessarily the type of business you have, but the business acumen in terms of the experience, because sometimes when you start a business you take out a lot of things on credit, and perhaps you trust your goods to people, like you let them borrow money from you and you don't pay, or you make bad financial decisions, and it's not based on the market demand itself why your business failed, but other factors such as financial management, such as government regulations. Because let me tell you, a business in my country, you have like 6 different government organizations coming in and checking to see that, all right, the place is sanitary in COVID, to make sure that you have the hand wash station, make sure your food handlers is up to scratch, your business license. So it just depends on the country you're in and the ease of doing business as well. What that can determine if you're inclined to stay in business or just simply work a job where you turn up from 9 to 5, and at the end of whatever period you get paid for that. That's quite simple. So some people just don't like the hustle, and it's high risk, high reward with doing business as well.
Okay.
So it's a
I
different
was
mindset it was.
Okay, cool. Thank you for landing that plane, Dreams. All right, so we have Sheila and Anna on the panel. So let's get their take on the question at hand. And then I'm gonna flip it after they have given their input. I want to flip the question to um why do African Americans have the desire to move over to the continent, and get y'all's respective answers on that. So, Sheila, can you hear me? Going once,
Sure,
going twice.
can
Okay,
hear you guys.
okay, cool. So,
I'm following up.
what's your take on the topic of discussion? Do Africans have a desire to move to Western countries? Why or why not?
Yeah, before it wasn't like that, but when it comes to now, especially this generation of ours, and let me give example of Ugandans here, especially Ugandans. I have moved in other countries, of course, and I've seen the young generation in Africa how things are. And to the fact that young generations are open now, their minds are open to see, like they know what is up, they know what is bad, they know what is good. Uh, so I would say like 70%, of course, they want a better life, and which is not here, which is not in Africa, because when it comes to our leadership, mostly the one we blame most, our leadership is so corrupt, and they don't actually mind about these young generations. Um, like in Uganda here, when you visit these big offices and people who receive like enough salary, we call it enough salary, the people in their 50s and above.
Okay.
So, and then this young generation, they receive very little, and of course they want better life, which is hard for them. That's why most young generations, young youth, they want to move out of Africa for better life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Kent, but because I came in late and I dearly apologize for that. But I've spoken to a significant amount of Africans in different countries, right? So I want to share what I've been told by them.
Okay, real quick, mental. So after you get done with this thought, I'm gonna let Anna chime in on this,
Oh,
and then
Anna's back on. Never mind. Let
yeah,
it go. Let it go.
but because I definitely want to hear. I think we all want to hear what you were about to say. So I'm gonna bring her up, but I
Okay,
want you to
on
hold on,
top
hold
of
on,
that,
Sheila, hold on. So
okay,
yeah, so I'm gonna bring Anna up. Mental, I want you to finish your thought, and then Anna, we're gonna let her chime in on the topic, and then Sheila will come back to you. Is that cool?
That sounds good to me.
All right, so go ahead, mental, and then Anna, you're up next. Go ahead.
So, the overwhelming response that I've gotten from a significant amount of my friends that are either here in America, like I have a friend that's from Angola, and he desperately wants to go back home, and other individuals that have been here in the States and came back. The overarching reason for their desires to come to the United States is for employment opportunities, and that's it. Like majority of the people that live in the Africans from the diaspora that live in the United States, 9 times out of 10 they're sending money back. Okay, um, so that's a big telltale sign where they don't. A lot of them, especially when it comes to the men, they don't necessarily come here for the culture. They don't care. They don't really care much for the political landscape that's going on in the United States. They come here to work, right? And the currency exchange is significantly better than most places, with the exception of the UAE, like a Qatar or a Dubai. However, there's more prejudice in Qatar and Dubai to where the men, when they come there, they can't be doctors and lawyers or engineers or technicians. They have to be security. When
Yeah, I heard
women
about
go,
that. I heard
when
about that.
women go to the UAE, they're either maids or they end up not making it and becoming ladies of the night, you know.
Mm.
So in America, you have a greater chance of finding a profession. You like the most academically achieving population from the African continent that's in the America are the Nigerians. They are most of our black lawyers. They are most of our black doctors. Um, I'll say this: the reason why I'm in this suit today is because I went to a Latter Day Saints service, right? And and you know that's a predominantly white religious group.
Mm.
Well, that service, the pastor was Ghanaian. Well, the bishop was Ghanaian, and these white people are listening to a Ghanaian speak the word. And in the Virginia area where I live, I also met the president of the Mormon affiliates in the Northern Virginia region. He's Ugandan, right? And and he was talking to me, and he was telling me that he's the president of 10 chapters here in Northern Virginia. So they come here and they seize the opportunities. Now, some of them will stay here in America because when you are in one of those higher positions, like the two that I just mentioned, I mean, you're the you're the creme de la creme. You know, you're at the top. So yeah, you're more or less likely to leave, because if you do go back to your hometown or your home country rather, you're kind of not necessarily starting midway through, but you're starting at the top. So, and I'm gonna land the plane here, right? When you look at other countries, right? When you look at people from Spain, when you look at people from Rome, Italy, China, you look at other places in Africa, they don't look at the United States as a tourist attraction. They will skip the United States and go to Cancun. They will skip the United States and go to Brazil or Colombia or Puerto Rico. So that says a lot about the desires, not just people from Africa, but people all over the globe and their desires to come here other than to work. That's all I got.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, mental. Appreciate that. Anna, can you hear me?
Hi guys, can everyone hear me? Please, like, let me know if you can hear me because I know my network is a bit shitty right now.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
So
cool.
so
So,
the question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
right. So this desire to move to Western countries, I'll just say maybe a few things because I don't know. You guys caught me in my day and I wasn't really ready for this. Um, African people are, for lack of a better word, tired of most of the habits of people from the Western country. And this is just to reiterate the kind of conversation we had the last time we spoke. Um, there's this strong feeling of importance that a lot of people from Western country carry around. I'll give you an example with the Chinese people in Africa who come and literally take over whole spaces in terms of villages and whatnot. And then considering that some of these countries have a stronger currency than we have, so they have like a financial muscle in terms of influence when it comes to our leaders and some of our village elders and whatnot. So a lot of African people are going to Western countries simply because the women, number one, are going to Western countries to get point 0.5 babies. We call them point 0.5, like half and half, right? So Black American, what would probably give birth to what we now call Black American people. So most girls go to Western countries to procreate and maybe to help extend some
Come on. She was cooking.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I mean the best part apparently. I mean, they got her, bro. They got her, but it was like the Ugandan authorities said no more for her ass, man.
Oh no,
So
hold on. Let me see if I can reach her in the back chat. But damn. Okay, Sheila, while we try to figure out the situation, you want to go ahead and um dive in on what you were gonna say before? Can you hear me, Sheila?
Yeah. When I was last year, I was in Dubai and I met over like 30 different uh, countries, young people from 30 countries, Africans. And when you sit down and talk to them, like how we used to discuss, most of them, of course, it's employment. You see that everyone is talking about the leadership in Africa because of our corrupt leaders who doesn't want to leave the seat, especially ours here in Uganda.
I mean, I could be a leader
They
if you
don't want, yes, they don't want to give a chance to young people, to lead. And then here you find that the leadership is in the family, is running in the family, and then also the people who are gaining are in the family. So it's really sad, and it's actually almost everywhere in Africa. So it gives a desire for us young people, to say, I think if I go away from here, my life will be better. And then when it comes to real life, Africa is beautiful, everything is good, but
what?
the
I have a question,
situations,
Sheila. Sheila, can I ask you a question?
yeah,
So are you basically telling me Africa is basically a monarchy just all over again? So they basically dropped the kings of the old just to put a new king by virtue, right?
sure.
To
Hello?
say,
No, I'm saying like so they got rid of the kingdoms, which was like multiple kings, right? So the
Not
so
really. It's not about kingdom
no, you
because when it
let
comes
me
to
finish.
Uganda,
No,
it's
I was
not about
finished.
kingdom.
What I was
It's
saying what I was saying is right. So they basically got a monarchy, just a different form of a monarchy. That's what it seemed like to me there.
I think what she's saying is the oligarchs.
I mean, oligarchs is basically the kings, basically now. Right? That's modern day kingship.
So yes and no, but when you talk about kingship, it's headed by one. So the kingship is more or less like a dictatorship with bishops and dukes. However, an oligarch is a community of elders that run everything, and they're not trying to listen to the youth because they're older and they're assumed to be wiser. So their word is gold. If I'm not wrong, Sheila.
I mean, in effect, it is a monarchy because most of the times in the African countries, they rule until they die and pass it on to their children. So, in effect, it's hereditary.
It's a hereditary
So,
monarchy. That's what I was
yeah,
saying.
in
Because
effect.
if you're an oligarch, right, and it look like this, if you got $60 billion, right, and you're the runner of a certain company, like let's say you Jeff Bezos' kid, right? Let's say you Jeff Bezos' kid. Her daughter, his daughter, right? She's gonna inherit all that money when he die anyway, right? And whoever's married to her or whoever she married necessarily gonna be the next oligarch necessarily in standing. So technically, it is based on monarchy just by the amount of money. Then we just change the what is it? The guidelines to the kingship. Instead of you have to be just blood related, now you got to have the money and be
Yeah,
blood related.
yeah. She
Okay.
was speechless
Yeah,
for once.
yeah. So I was trying to explain to why 70% of African have the desire to move to the Western countries because of our collapsed leaders, and also the cost of living comes high when it comes because of the corrupt leadership. So I would say yes, they have so much desire because for better life, cost of living here is expensive when you're not earning well.
Well,
Yeah.
Let me ask.
I have a question before we continue. What is a Western country? Because I heard references to UAE and China. So, what is our definition of what is a Western country? Because um, Africa is no more east than Europe when you look at a map. So, what is a Western country,
I
and
when
why?
when I
Actually, because we already have people who have moved out of countries, so far here in actually not only Ugandans, everyone talks about like maybe if I go to Canada, my life will be better. Maybe if I go to America, Australia, like those countries, my life will be better. Of course, we have some other people in China, but most of them they move to Canada, Australia, America, Germany, Sydney, like that.
So,
So,
so for
I
for for
go
lack of
ahead,
better
go ahead, go ahead.
terms, a Western country would be a first world developed country with more progressive ideologies.
right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but we're just
Yeah.
using the wrong terminology then because we use the word Western countries to refer to countries that are
I think
east of Africa
Western,
and as well as west as Africa. So
So,
that's
so,
why I'm
so,
just
not
so,
saying.
all.
because Europe is still considered a
We
Western country,
It
although
is
it's
all
not
countries.
geographically West.
Yeah, but
we
it
would
goes
say
back to our
maybe
education.
European countries, maybe that would be better. European countries, not
No,
Western.
it just goes back to what we were saying before in terms of our education and the way we define things. We define things wrong. So even though we define Europe as a Western country, our Western region, our Western civilization as opposed to Africa, it's not literally West. So it goes back to what we were saying, critical thinking. They're saying Africans are migrating west when they're indeed migrating north. So it goes back
So,
to what we are saying, the
so
All
misnomers in
right.
our education system.
All right, Dream.
it's not a misnomer in education system. It's the difference between ideology and geographics. You're speaking in the terms of geographics. We're speaking in the terms of ideology.
Ideology, right. And so I actually brought up something too, and it says the Western world, also known as the West, primarily refers to various nations and states in the regions of Australasia, Europe, and the Americas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
it's not a
that's kind of like white
geographic.
countries then, basically, but
Yes.
majority white countries.
Basically, that's what I'm saying. Christendom, or European, the former Roman Empire, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But to
All
what
right.
you were saying, what you were saying, mental, the ideology
Yeah.
mainly.
And I want to pose this question to Sheila. So you're saying the government is corrupt in Africa. The government is corrupt just about everywhere you go. When you're in a pseudo communist regime, or if you're into what America is becoming socialist, where you depend on the government more so than what you need to, it's going to be corrupt. So this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the youth of Africa are not leaving because of the corruption of governments, because the corruption of governments are everywhere. They're leaving for job opportunities.
Hmm. I wonder why. A
Well
question that
said.
comes. Hold on. What? I wonder why the people. It just seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks that are actually like in Africa and know what's going on, not people who have visited and going off speculation or reading. I want to know people who are. I want to know the experiences of the people who actually live there day to day. So I'm inclined to think that you would know more than anyone else in that regard, right? So with that being said, so Sheila and Muse, why is it that the people, maybe I'm ignorant in all this, but why aren't the people like fighting back? Why aren't they rallying against the corrupt? Because I mean, you see what we're doing out here in America, right? You know,
It's
hold on, Malcolm, hold on. We are
The usual business.
I was
right,
just about to
right,
say it, bro.
right. Everybody's on their Carmen San Diego today, I guess. Um, I just want to know, why is it that the people aren't? It just seems like the people aren't fighting back out there. I don't know. I'm totally ignorant to all this, so that's why I'm posing these questions. They may seem stupid to you, or may seem like I, I'm trying to learn here. I'm trying to
Okay,
understand. So go ahead.
okay. Let me give you an example. I hope I won't be arrested.
Oh shit.
This is roast free zone. Roast free zone.
Yeah, it's that serious, bro. It's that serious.
Yeah, this is touchy
Yes.
topic.
So let me give you an example. Like here, in Uganda,
Mhm.
the rich. Okay, people who are rich here. There is too much money in this country. There is a lot of money. I wouldn't say it's not there. People who are rich here are the people who are in government, people who have been there like 20 years. And that person who is been government for 30 years or 20 will not give a chance to these young people to come in. Rather, they connect their own like children to follow up. Because I have me being in business, I meet big people, I meet big government officers. You find someone is 74 years and is in the office leading like over 2, 3, 4, 5 places, you know. So that means that he receives a lot of money,
Mm.
salary. Yes, and then the money he's getting, it means, and when you look at the employees that are under him, they receive very little. Myself, I was employed once in a government institution, but when I looked at the salary, and then I looked at this person employing me, how much money it's getting, I was like, cannot, you know, I cannot true. I want to work, but I cannot, this is too little, So they don't have any respect for young generation. And then the cost of living for us is so expensive, because when you look at someone, you're young, you have family, you have like 2, 3 children, you have received, let's say, actually most Ugandan, the person who receives a lot, people who are in 40 years and below, the person who receives a lot to receive like okay, let's say 5 millions. Doctors here receive 1.8 millions, too little. And on that, they will not give you accommodation, they will not pay tuition for your kids, and they want you to work 12 hours a day, 5 days in a week. That means you don't even have a chance, to be creative or to do your own thing or to do some other things apart from your job. So it's really sad, guys, in Africa, pray for us because the leadership is all rotten, I would say that, because Actually, whenever I meet these people, me, I'm an open person. I always tell them, it's not nice at all, because people are suffering here. They are suffering. Young people are suffering. No jobs. You find someone with a bachelor is in a business of charcoal, selling charcoal. Someone with the bachelor, a lawyer, is in, on the street. It is not nice. That means even education itself, it is nothing anymore here, because you study over, like, let's say, how many years, like 15 years, you're studying,
Sheila, we need you
because
to we need you to land the plane real quick.
yeah, you see that because of corruption, it is affecting, even it's making education useless here, because you find someone who is someone who has a master's or a bachelor, that is over 6 years, let's say 8, 9 years in primary level, 6 years in high school, and then plus university over 4 years. You find someone with a master's doing a street job. So it
Okay,
is
okay,
making everything useless.
real quick. Let me get in here. Let me get in here. So this is the reason why, and I'm gonna keep beating this upside the head. The reason why, like what you're saying and what you're expressing to us is the same thing that we experience over here in the West, right? Like I just pulled it
Ah,
up right during your diatribe. The average age of a member of the House of Representatives is 57.9 years old, and the average age of a member that is a representative of the Senate is 64. So these people that are in government, they tend to hold their positions for a very long time.
Or
And
until you die.
yeah, and it's like this right here. At the end of the day, it's I can't stress this enough. It has very little to do with the government and more to do with the economic development in the country. Now, the government can play a role in that. However, when it comes to grants, funding, and things of that nature, however, it's going to take outsourcing opportunities, which means can you provide a service that is going to reach outside the landscape of where you live? If you really want to employ people and give people an opportunity to fend for themselves and provide for their families. Go ahead.
yeah, so as you see, all these things I'm talking about, the reason why Africans are not happy, on top of being collapsed, you find that even they're not taking care of Ugandans, let's say like hospitals, those smaller things. You reach in the hospital, there is no medicine, no doctors, even doctors who are there are tired, So the whole situation is not nice at all. It's not nice anyway, you guys. And then you find this
Yeah.
person who's been in the office for over 30, 40 years is receiving over 30 million, is receiving insurance, is receiving, they, on top of that, they give them, free homes, they give them over 3 cars, So really, all that
Well,
makes
this is how
young
I see it.
people
I
to
identify.
suffer. Yeah.
This is how I see it. I identify with a lot of what Sheila is saying in terms of
Dream,
you
dreams,
finish.
dreams. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you cook. I'm gonna let you cook. But after this, we gotta move on. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's the same thing everywhere. It's not just Africa. You go to college and you come out and can't get a job because people are already filling those roles. It's not something that's unique to Africa. This is the first time I'm getting employed with a government agency, and I left college like 10 years ago. But in the interim, I was running a business by myself. So you have to just find means and ways not to complain and just get on with it. It's life and it happens everywhere. So that's it.
Yeah, cool. Appreciate the input. Appreciate everybody's input to the conversation. I mean, it's educational for me. Because, like I said, the questions that I'm asking just from a genuine place because I have no idea what's going on, and we have people that are actually out there living the day-to-day experiences, as Sheila so eloquently put us on to, Muse as well, and then Anna before she was before the
They
Wi-Fi
came and
got
got
there.
her, bro. Like
Yeah,
the Uganda special ops came and got Anna. She was
yeah,
working a little too hard for her.
yeah, something because she was going in. So with that, I'm gonna flip the question. So we went over in great detail why some Africans or most Africans have the desire to move to Western countries. But on the flip side, what's the desire with us as African Americans?
Ooh,
What is the desire to go and become expats? Is that the right term to use?
yeah, that is
Yes.
the correct term.
Okay, so what is the desire to become an expat in African countries?
The,
Why do you think that is?
the simple answer is this, man: opportunities. Because the average person, and I'm gonna say it, the average individual in a lot of African countries, they are not business minded in general, right? So like I think Muse said it earlier, right? That she said, or like you, I think Muse, or I think it was with a Ajamo. Ajamo said earlier, he was like, "All right, there's like business class of people in America. Like, all right, here in Atlanta, in Georgia, and like I can at least speak for the place that I've been to, like New York. They have a culture of business, right? Like, because if you go down to New York, there's a guy at the hot dog stand selling you hot dogs and whatever. There's some person also out there in front of your business, in front of your place of business, selling you coffee. There's another person out there necessarily got a business trying to sell you or get you something. It's the same thing down here in Georgia. We have a business culture, a business mindset, right? The average person on the continent doesn't have that mindset because at the end of the day, let's be honest, Africa is basically a paradise. In actuality, compared to the majority of the world, it is a paradise, right? So let's think about like right here, right now, it's 60 degrees. Earlier this morning, it was about what 55 degrees almost, right? So it was cold. It was cold, right? The average African doesn't have to deal with that, right? It's warm majority of the time. The food is in plentiful amount majority of the time. The depends on where you sitting at on the equator, right? You're pretty much getting perfect amount of sun or little or the right amount of sun, right? So you don't have to worry about that. It's just more the fact of they're in the perfect position, so they don't have that drive to go get. That's what I'm gonna say.
Cool, cool. Mental?
Yeah, so I want to add on to that. I will definitely say that certain parts of Africa is a paradise because if you if you go to uh Djibouti, Africa, in Djibouti City, I think it was the name of it. I don't know the actual city that I was in. If you want to call a scorching hot desert a paradise, go right ahead. Because there was many a times when I would go outside to use the restroom, and it's 1 o'clock at night, and it's still 100 degrees outside. Right?
Arab country though, right?
It,
Is it
no,
technically Djibouti an Arab country though? Now,
no, it's on the Horn of Africa. No, they're definitely at Djiboutians there. Yeah, it's definitely
okay then,
yeah,
okay
yeah.
then.
And all on the north side of that equator over there, because it's 11 degrees north of the equator. It cooks over there. Now, when you move down to like um, East Africa and South Africa, yeah, you're going to enjoy the tropical weather that you will experience in like a Brazil or whatnot. Now,
Oh, damn.
what I would say, what I would say is this, right? The reason why I'm trying to move there is because I have been looking at the forecast of economics as far as what um, the political landscape and the economic landscape is planning on bringing to the continent. And I'm trying to get a stake in that because that's a win-win situation. Because if I can get into that, it's something that the globe is looking at as far as renewable energy and those other resources. So I'm going there for sure opportunity. It's just whether or not I'll be able to get into it. Now, I say that as a backup plan that I'm going over there as once I retire, and once I retire, I will have residual income to where working would be a choice or not. But to caveat on that, I plan on having a family and I want to leave something for my children. And I feel like in the continent of Africa, it's pretty tough. But if I lay the groundwork for my children to follow behind, they will be okay. So I'm there for I'm going there for opportunity and legacy purposes.
Okay, so you out here reverse trailblazing back to Africa. The same thing I'm doing in that sense, because for me, I think it's like this. The world understands that Africa is the future. The world, I think the world as a global sphere sees that Africa is the future, and everybody's trying to get their piece of Africa. How I look at it, I might as well get my piece, and hopefully, when I get my piece of Africa, right, well, my piece, right, I'm gonna actually be a better steward than the former people that was over there, because like the colonialness, the air, we had different invasions from different, let's say, foreign groups. Me, you'll get a better deal from me, right, than you would probably doing with, like, let's say a let's say like let's say an Arab person, let's say that much, right? Or let's say a Western European or something, right? That you, if you do business with me, I'm gonna give you a more fairer deal. So for me, I look at it as a business opportunity, since opportunity to grow, learn new cultures, evolve, and I'm all about evolution.
So my question is this right here, right? Because we have to understand what a better deal is to the local people of the country. Okay. So it's like, what if the Arabs or the Chinese or the Russians for that matter offer a heavier financial incentive than what you can, because it's like the reason why I'm moving there is because I'm willing to get into business with a corporation or a government entity that will support the financial endeavor. If you go there by yourself, thinking that you as an individual will be able to offer a greater opportunity than what a country or a government can offer, you're in for an uphill battle.
Oh yeah, that comes with the caveat of understanding. Like, I am like one person. I got a couple of people that I work with, but at the end of the day, I understand that I am not. I don't have the same financial weight as the whole entire Chinese government. I would never say anything as stupid as, yeah, I'm gonna outbid the Chinese government on a railway or something like that. Nah, nah, nah. But
Right.
let's say on the one-off the business that I do business with you, like, okay, if you do business with a Chinese person, or you do with a Chinese government, you're dealing with the Chinese government. They have their own foreign policy interests in your country, right? You do business with the French, you do business with the United States. They have their own foreign interest policies that they wanted to interact in your country, right? Like, same thing with all these other nations. Me, I don't have that issue, right? If you want to do business with me, I just do business with you. As soon as the business deal is done, you can go your way. I'm gonna go my way. I'm not gonna tell you accept LGBT. I'm not gonna say you need to learn Chinese history. I'm not gonna go over there and say you need to learn French history. Nah, you don't need to know me. How I do business, as long as that money is can spend like it needs to spend, that's all I care about.
So I mean, it's funny you say that, right? Because you like I'm very in tune with the government that's going on over there in Kenya. Like President William Ruto, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he was actually here uh, last month. He was here last month for the summit.
You talking about in
So
the country?
yeah, in the United States.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've been keeping up with him. This I kind of rock with him and the Ugandan president.
So it's like that's where the corruption comes in, right? When a government will come in and like fatten your pocket as opposed to fatten the people's pockets, because that's what's going on with the Chinese right now. They're coming into Nairobi in particular, and they're repaving the roads, they're building buildings, and it's like I'm paying the politicians and the people that create policy, and they don't have to trickle the money down to people that are working that are actual Kenyans, because the Chinese are going to bring their people in. So it's like it's kind of like how America is trying to do with automations and AI. They're trying to trim as much overhead as possible. So that's another aspect of it that you got to take in consideration of why these people that are very well and able to build their own infrastructure won't, because at the end of the day, the government, they're not backing their people because they want to line their own pockets.
Mm.
Greed is
Oh,
universal. I mean, like
unfortunate.
I have to say that greed is universal. So I don't really know how to solve that. Well, I do know how to solve that, but you know, that's that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of like what Nick was because Nick was getting to a very dark direction when he was talking about why not fight against the government, because it's a little different over there than over here. Over there, if you fight against the government, they will smoke you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Well,
And,
hey,
and Muse is back up, so I know she can contest to this.
Muse, do you have anything to say? Muse, can you hear us?
Mango Wireless is tapping out, man.
Mm.
Hey, Big Dream, I want to hear what you got to say. Do you have a desire to
Yeah,
move
I
to
mean
the
it's the same
continent?
thing. My country is like an African country, so everything that the Ugandans are facing, it's like copy and paste for me. We have like 6 politicians over the age of 70. There's a lot of cronyism, nepotism. You have to know someone to get somewhere. With the thing with the politicians, the thing with the politicians is that they get government
Okay,
contracts.
can
So when they
I?
when they're in business with their friends and they get the government contracts, they are free to give the contracts to whomever they want to give it to. So say I'm getting a government contract from the Chinese, they will line my pockets, they get the contracts and I sign to their deals. They get to build the roads and they get to lease the lands adjacent to the roads. And for other contracts that I will contract it basically to myself using my companies that I stepped down from, but my friends are still on the board, and when I'm out of
Hi
office, they
guys.
will just
Hold
reinstate
on
me
one
to
second.
those boards.
I'm sorry.
They will just reinstate me. So
I'm sorry,
what's
Dream.
that?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I had to
Yeah.
mute Sheila's mic.
Okay. So I'm just saying that that's how the money laundering really goes in the political realms in my country. They basically just give themselves contracts or give contracts to people they know that will lobby them to let them win more elections. And there are two parties in my country, and they basically are on in the same businesses together, bro. So that's
Mm.
the depth of corruption in my country.
Mm.
Like their cousins and daughters and fathers on both sides of the political aisle and stuff like that.
So, do you have a desire to move to Africa?
I wouldn't move permanently. I will go there and stay probably like for half of the year, but like I'm setting up roots in Jamaica. I'm not saying that would change, no. And if I have extended family in Africa, that would be good. But I'm just getting to a point where I understand Jamaica. So I'm just playing the rules the way I understand it. I understand the financial gain in Jamaica. I'm just getting to make my connections in Jamaica. So when my roots are in Jamaica firm enough that it can self-sustain, perhaps then I will venture into knowing Africa a bit better and planting roots there as well.
I'm
That's an
about to say because
excellent point. Excellent point.
I've seen shotas, and I've seen the only thing since then that I've seen was the lovely ladies from America on the bamboo rides. But I will say I plan on visiting Jamaica because Jamaica is just, if not more, beautiful than some of the places that I've seen in Africa.
It is a beautiful country, though. I've been at least 4 or 5 times, but it is a beautiful country. What is it? Designer, you got something you
Yeah,
wanted to
I
say?
could attest to that.
Go ahead,
Sometimes
man.
Jamaica even surprises me. Sometimes I end up somewhere in Jamaica where I'm saying, wow, I can't believe this was in my country all the time. So yeah, it's very stunning, beautiful. The problems that we have are the same in terms of the corruption and crime, and that's just it. Otherwise, it's a paradise. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sheila, do you have anything to say? And then after you, Sheila Muse, did you have anything to say as well? Can y'all hear us, Sheila and
Yeah,
Muse?
yeah. Give it a
What's
second. Give it a second.
another topic?
Okay, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
think
I'm looking forward,
I think
to your topic was African American experience in Africa. Something.
No, the experience
experience in
was
Africa.
no. Wait, what he asked was basically this. Why do you think people are going to Africa? Like, or at least like if you're African American or you're in the diaspora, why are they going to the continent of Africa now?
Africa is beautiful. First, when it comes to weather, we have, of course, we have good weather. When it comes to my country, I would say it's so beautiful. And when you look at a family, you have your family members here, and then to the people who are coming in, we are welcoming. We are more than just family. So I think maybe that's why people come here. You find peace, you have freedom. However much there are a lot of things happening, like no jobs and all that, but we have
What
freedom.
do you mean? What do you mean, you people?
He being funny.
I think it's just
Okay,
she's being American. It's not something that you should take offense of. It's just like how sometimes I can be maybe chatting with, and then I'll be like, "Never Mavachi." It means you people. You get? It's not something you should take offense of.
I
Oh,
think he was just
okay.
playing Muse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's that good old Black American humor. He messing with you.
okay, yeah, okay. Like how the reason why I think the reason why Europeans or Western whatever they're coming to Africa is because we have so much freedom here, and then when it comes to business here, you can own a property, in your own and in your own names, and even your grandkids will take over that business
What
even
country?
after certain.
Wait. What country are you referring to? Because you can't be talking about Uganda or Kenya, because Americans
You can't
cannot
hear
own
me.
country in either one of those countries unless they're married to a native of their country.
Not only Uganda, of course, because me, I travel a lot. But when it comes to Africa, we have freedom, freedom to live, freedom to own. You can own a property, especially to people who are into businesses. You can own a property in your names, and even your grand great kids will take over that business. That's a good thing in Africa. Because when I made the research, let's say in the US, I was told that someone cannot own like a home, you can't own it forever. But here you can. You can own a home, you can own properties, you can own anything, you want. You can do businesses freely, you know. So I think maybe that's why most people are coming in here. And also the environment, weather, everything is beautiful.
Okay. All right. Can you let me speak?
I
Can
think
you
the reason
can you
that's
give me
why I
opportunity?
think the reason that's why guys
So question,
I think the reason that's why Americans are
question,
coming in
Sheila. You
here.
said.
It just has a lot
Give
of
me a second. Give me a second.
No. Let her speak. Let her speak.
No,
Cause
let Muse. Hold on, hold on. You guys. Let Muse speak. Oh, you got feedback like a motherfucking Muse.
I was saying I think the reason as to why African Americans are starting to come on here this decade, because
Did she say dickhead?
it sounded like
African
he said
American Black
dickhead.
Panther, the decade of the 2010s, when things started changing a little bit, people started coming into Africa. I mean, at least for the most part, I know South Africa is all marketed. Yeah, Kenya is all marketed. I don't know about Nigeria. And then remember, there was the year of return. You get that whole year brought in a whole number of African Americans into the country. And then also prior that there was Black Panther. You get it? Black Panther has
I
actually
have
had
to
a really
stop you. I
good
have to.
positive
I have to stop.
experience.
Hold on. I have to stop you, Muse, because the year return brought a significant amount of Africans into Ghana, not Africa. You can't speak of Africa as like it's a
Where's
country.
Ghana?
It is a continent.
I'm gonna need you to say that over
Ghana.
Yeah, you gotta
Is
say that
Ghana
one
in
more. Hold on, I had to
Africa?
mute.
Did Ghana act as an example country that actually opened what? It gave
How many
I, I'm not quite I'm saying when Ghana did that
I had to
hello? Can you guys
Oh, you
hear
can
me?
go now.
Oh my
Yeah, we can hear
god.
you now.
Jesus Christ.
Go ahead. Flow.
Your network is bad. Maybe you can give her a chance to first speak. First,
Yeah,
give her
that's
some
what we're trying to
minutes.
do. Get her to speak. So go ahead and speak,
Give
Muse.
her a minute.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give her a moment to speak then, but I'm gonna say this much. Like you said, the year of return, which was a cash grab in my honest opinion, right? My honest opinion, right? Because they said, quote unquote, year of return, you can come here if you want to. Then they
Nick,
said
you were
that it was
saying
offered
they
it that
came
way.
to Ghana.
Right.
Of course, when they came to Ghana, where is Ghana from? Is it Ghana in Africa?
I
And
think
also Ghana
You can't. No, you cannot do that
was
because there's
well
54
marketed.
countries inside of Africa.
cannot do that because there's 54 countries inside of Africa.
Well, but I mean, the influence Ghana did was also a bit too impactful because now people started now exploring the continent of Africa. Because I mean, there are some other countries that started copying what Ghana did and they started offering citizenships to African Americans, like free citizenship. I know of a country, is it Liberia? Liberia, is it? There's another country, I think it's in French West, it's a francophone country that
It's all
offers
on
citizenship
the western
to
side of
African
Africa.
Americans. And all I can say is just things kept on changing over the years, and it's a good thing for you guys to come back here, though. It's a good thing for you guys to come and build this place because, well, the people here.
It's all on the western side of Africa.
It's the western side because you people, that is where your history is. It's good for you to go there. Oh my God.
All I'm gonna say is, girl, your connection is next level bad. Girl, your connection is next level bad.
We hear it.
You don't have to say it out loud.
She got the mango wireless. The mango wireless is mangoing right now.
All right,
That's
so
that's the
I want to
Ugali
chip in for a bit
Nah,
in
he's
terms of
lying. He's lying. It's not the Mango Wireless. He's lying. It's just the Airtel network that is weird.
Yeah,
I want to
you're
chip
good.
in for a
We
bit in
know
terms of
we
Jamaica.
know it's out of your control, Muse. We're doing the best we can.
I want to chip in for a bit in terms of Jamaicans wanting to migrate to the continent. It's only one set of Jamaicans that really have ever pushed for repatriation in terms of going back to Africa, and that was the Rastafari movement influenced by Marcus Garvey. But what had happened was when the Emperor of Ethiopia had granted land for some people from the West to move back to Africa, the set of people that took up the offer were uneducated. So they went to Africa and basically did not know how to adjust and adapt to that circumstance. So it was like a failed experiment. Sorry. So they're Jamaicans now living in a community in Ethiopia called Shashamane, and they're an uneducated set of Black people. So it's not really adding a lot to the continent where they needed teachers, engineers, etc. So you have to go to Africa with a plan. So we learned from that to say, hey, we can't just go to Africa there and just expect to be handed a warm welcome and a job and everything. We have to go there with resources, education, and with the funding to self-sustain ourselves, starting businesses and stuff like that. So no, there wouldn't be any Jamaicans necessarily that would want to go to Africa unless they're given job opportunities. So not just getting up and migrating, you know?
Exactly.
All right.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Big Dream, because it's like You have to be able to like, and I was talking about outsourcing and grabbing resources from other regions. That's one way, but another way is to manipulate the environment that you are going into. And that requires resources. That requires to be able to have the money to get the tools to manufacture a environment that will be profitable for you.
Or even just even I think you also even missing it into the simple point of even knowing how to necessarily know that you're in your environment and you need to correct it. Like I look at some of these African countries like that I've been to, right? They're more like frogs in the boiling water, and I don't know if you understand the frogs in the boiling water analogy, or the boiling crab in the water analogy. You put the crab in there, you let them you put the water up slowly, and before you know it, the water's boiling and the crab just passes out.
Yeah.
That's how I see a lot of the people in Africa. They're basically like the small crabs inside the country or the continent being boiled slowly to death, right? And that's what I think is good for like having African Americans there because we are really adapted to different kind of water. Like we are hypersensitive to that water. So when we go to a country, we start immediately asking questions. Why is this way? Why is that this way? Because we want to know everything. We want to break everything down to the base root and then rebuild it and understand at least where we at. So I think it actually is a good thing for us, at least for the diaspora to necessarily go there into the continent because it's a vast amount of information that you can learn and use when you go to the country.
And I hate
All
to ask this usual business. I hate to ask you this, but why do you think Black Americans have that train of thought? I hate to ask you.
About breaking things. Okay, I come from my history just throwing them hands to anybody and everybody in the West. Like, hey, like we say, hey, mama ain't raised no punks out here.
So,
So,
so do you
in the
think it
sense,
has something to do with the way we like what Big Dream said, adapt, adjust, and adapt to the situation that we had when we got outside of slavery during
yeah,
Jim Crow?
yeah, I would say that, but I think that's just almost like a cultural thing now for us because I literally go to a country and immediately start understanding how the country is being ran, who's cheating who's not doing something right. These are questions that I ask myself immediately because I have that frame of mindset of what's going on, and my natural I don't say personality. I don't say yeah. I will say personality to like challenge different things or the mindset to even ask the question, why is it that way, right? So I guess that is that post quote unquote slavery mindset of I need to
Yeah.
understand everything. I need to break it down to the core so I can at least understand what I need to do and how to get there. So you're probably
So,
right.
so, so with that being said, how, I mean, like, this is, and I think we still have a representative from Africa here. How do we as a people manage to maintain our existence inside of a society that was not developed for us and manipulate the environment that we are in with very little help from the government? Because there was some help, very little help from the government, and we create a society for ourselves to where the colonizers looked at us and said, wait a minute, they doing better than us, we got to burn this shit down. Like, and then they went to strategic measures of how to strip us away from our unity and wanting for ourselves, right? We wanted for ourselves, and then they seen it. And like when they talk about Black Wall Street was after it was built again,
Second
right?
time.
We already had it developed, right? And then they burned it down and we built it back up. Those were white people in a society where we were a minority. I'm asking this, and this is for everybody, but I'm glad you brought that up. How are they in a country when 90% of them look like them in a mineral rich, geographically, like it's geographically placed on the globe
Perfectly.
for zero energy use. I mean, not zero energy, but zero emissions, right? Everything that they need is there. What is stopping them from developing themselves to what we were in the 50s and 60s?
And
Uh,
that's kind of what I was asking with the whole fighting back question. But the way you encapsulated more better than what I was trying to initially put on.
You
So
want Sheila to
But I
answer, or
feel
is
you,
for
Nick.
anyone?
hold
I
on,
feel
Dream.
you. We
Okay.
we didn't fight back. We built within.
that's because of two different things,
Mm,
bro. Like ingenuity, I don't think
I
ingenuity,
think it's a little bit of
ingenuity is the
both, but
mother of
yeah.
invention, bro. Like, and I think you misunderstand. Like ingenuity, because you have the ingenuity, right? You gonna find the will or the desire to do something. Like when you go to I'm telling you, I've been to Tanzania. If you have your decent farmland in Tanzania, what you really need, what you don't really need, you don't really have any problems.
It's
God
hard
honest.
for me. Listen, it's hard for me to buy that because of the simple fact that we did not fight their government. We excuse me. We did not fight our government. We just
Eh,
asked.
In some
We no,
respects, we did, mental. In some respects, we did.
yeah, we
not
did.
Initiative
We did a
not
lot of
during
fighting.
Jim
and
Crow. Not during Jim Crow. We did not. We did not fight them. You know what we fought for in the 60s? Civil rights. We fought to become a part of them. That's the only thing we fought. And that
Nah,
was to our detriment.
a two-party system, but I ain't gonna get into that country. And
yeah, yeah.
that's a whole
Um,
different ball.
I know where it's
Bag of
going.
words
It's
on that
going
one.
to the separationist versus the integrationist. But listen, this is how I see it. All these problems that we have are as a result of lack of will and lack of education. I think the people just don't know what to do, and those who know are not interested in getting it done. That's what I think in lies all the issues that we face. Because most of the problems that we have now, if you have enough education, it's a simple solve. Instead of us buying resources from other countries, why not build out like sustainable infrastructure, sustainable agriculture, and those things are straightforward answers to complicated issue, but the answers are there. Why don't we do it? We either don't know or don't have the will. It's that simple.
Dream. I have to hold you there because it's like this right here. The first part, I don't agree with you, but the second part, I do agree with you. Education, lack of education is not the excuse because, and I'm gonna say this again because they are the apple of Africa's eye. Nigerians will come to America and kick ass. There's plenty of
Mm,
smart Nigerians that are
I
not
was
able to
literally
come
just
to
saying
America.
this. I was just saying this about just Africans
But mental,
in
it's the
general.
same thing. It's the same thing.
Go
It's the
ahead.
same thing for Jamaicans, bro. Jamaicans are a lot of road scholars and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is the people that are left here, there's a thing called brain drain. It's real for us. The people that leave here from college go straight from our universities and go to America or England and stay. They don't come back and do anything. Those that decide to come back and get in politics don't have the will to do it. So for those that are still here, it is a lack of education, bro. I'm telling you,
the
it is a
the
lack of
problem
education. I speak to them.
I feel where you coming from, but you have to understand there's like 8 United States can fit inside of Africa. It's even more of the continent of Jamaica that can fit inside of Africa. You're talking about maybe 40 Jamaicans 40 Jamaica can fit inside of Africa. There's
Probably
still
thousands. Probably thousands.
yeah, probably
yeah,
thousands. Yeah.
probably thousands. There are more intelligent people inside of Africa. And we're not even talking about a brain drain because there's plenty of them there that can build their own like we did during Jim Crow. There's plenty of them there. But it's like this right here. I'm gonna put it out there. It's white worship, man. It's white
Mm,
worship.
mm.
You think so?
I know
What?
so.
Yeah. What? You don't think it? You don't think white worship has
I
anything to
mean, you
do with
got a
that?
point. You got a point, mental agility. But guess what? No, you have a point. No, but when I look at it on the ground, like some people like me, I'm probably the only person from my class that's still in Jamaica. Most people migrated. But when I speak to the Jamaicans that aren't as fortunate as myself, they probably still want to be governed by Queen Elizabeth and her successors, bro. So
So would
that's
it
the
be
thing.
safe to
Because
say that those people are not really of your country, or the people are not really for their country if they're just
They should be
no,
shooting
taken
out
the
care
and
of.
Black Jamaicans that are here are brainwashed to what mental agility is saying. Yes, it's white worship, but it's because of ignorance as well. Why they have that outlook on life. They don't see certain things. You have some people that if you tell them about things that will progress your country, they're totally against it. If you talk to people about like nuclear energy, because they don't know about it, they say, "Oh my gosh, it will like affect us in adverse ways and stuff like that." When they don't know that we already have nuclear in our country, so simple things like that people just don't know that we already managing nuclear facilities in Jamaica. We have renewables. People have excuses as to why we don't adopt that because they want to import oil because that meets the status quo. So because the people that vote, that's why I don't believe in democracy. I don't believe in it because I think that people that aren't informed on something making decisions that affect everyone, it's kind of a stupid way to govern a country. If the country was generally educated or the region was generally educated, then democracy would have been beneficial. But to say that ignorant people should make decisions that affect everyone, they won't always come up or won't often come up with the right decisions.
See, big dream. Now you're tiptoeing into oligarch and communism, meaning that and in America, especially when it comes to the black community, you're talking about the talented tenth, right? That's going to make decisions for the 90% of people, which I don't I don't necessarily disagree with. However, the majority, if they wish to push back against the minority, they will dominate.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm not saying that my system of technocrats is the best system either, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. But what I'm saying is,
Yes.
what obtains now is that the vast majority of the population isn't at the educational standard where democracy makes sense. A simple
Mhm.
thing like, all right, a simple thing like incorporating renewable resources shouldn't be a debate. A simple thing like removing Queen Elizabeth and her family as the head of state of our country shouldn't even be a debate, but it is still a debate because of the perspectives of the majority of people that aren't as educated on our history, our environmental practices, or what makes financial sense. So
Yeah,
if
white worship.
the educated mass of people are making the right decisions, it shouldn't be that much of an issue.
Yeah, mental agenda. I really think you really got. I think you really got underestimated that the stupidity of the average person. Like,
No, I
like
don't estimate it at all. I don't underestimate it at all because I do agree with the talented tip philosophy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it only takes one moron to wake up and get the other morons to overturn, and then you have anarchy.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I
So,
mean,
you guys, I'm not hearing about, okay, what should tourists be on lookout for in Africa? Let me talk about that. Then I also run away my battery. So, I think uh, in my country, we have a lot of beautiful things when it comes to lakes, waterfalls, green environment. Everything is beautiful apart from, anyway, yeah, it's beautiful. Uganda is beautiful. I encourage you guys to come and visit Uganda. It's beautiful. uh, the bad thing, we don't have good roads, but apart from that, Uganda is beautiful. It's developing each and every day. It's developing and it has many educated people. People are respectful here. We respect each and everyone here, no matter how you look like or no matter where you come from. Uh, we respect each other here. So come to Uganda, tell your friends, invite your friends, come to Uganda. Uganda is beautiful. We are welcoming. We are good people. Yeah,
well, I
thank
appreciate
you.
that. I appreciate that, Sheila. I think to me personally, out of all the countries that I've been to so far, I've been to like about three, no, three countries. I'm gonna add a fourth one to my list currently. I know now. I know what is it? Sir Nick over here in Mental Agenda that y'all said y'all going to Kenya. And I understand y'all like the development over there, but I don't know. But maybe it's that country boy in me. But when it comes to just the absolute beauty of the natural landscape, it's, to me, Uganda is perfect. I don't think no country in the world even comes close to it. So that's just my opinion on that place of places to actually go and visit.
So,
I mean,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Sir Nick. Go ahead, Sir Nick.
I'm gonna be brief because I'm just trying to direct the conversation. I'm letting y'all cook. Y'all are doing a fabulous job, and again, I'm learning. I'm sure our viewers, they'll be doing the same and learning from everybody's various perspectives and opinions on the topics at hand. But yeah, to what
And
you were saying.
hold on. And I must say, you are doing a magnificent job narrating. Or
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm doing my best. I'm trying. But with that being said, to usuals, to what your point, I originally was gonna head to Ghana because I was hearing about how, Black Americans, African Americans, whatever have you, how so well received we are out there. It's like they're more so welcoming than any other uh, African country. Again, this is just from my findings and what I've been hearing from Ghanaians themselves and Black folk from the diaspora that has since been back and forth to and from Ghana. So just off of that alone, I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and see what's popping over there. But then, Kenya got onto my radar, and I started, again, getting the information and doing the research and talking to people who are actually of the of the land over there, as they say. And that just it edged Ghana out a bit to where I was like, you know what, let me go and check out Kenya first and then make my rounds. So
Do a quick double back.
What happened?
I said gonna do a quick double back then.
Yeah, basically. So I mean, my plan is to visit as many of the countries in Africa as possible. I don't want to just go to Kenya and be stagnated. I want to go and see what's popping in Uganda as well, and
Yeah,
Angola.
multiple countries.
Yeah, I want to soak up as much culture and as possible, because I want to learn about, like, I just want to learn about the motherland. And I think the only way that you can go about doing that is actually being, like, as we've been referring to, boots on the ground, being out there among the people, and not just in the cities, but like the villages as well, wherever we're allowed.
Yeah. I'd say if you really want to get the feel of any place, you really got to go to the countryside. I mean, if you go to the city, because all cities are basically the same. You're fighting for money. I don't care what. A city in Uganda is no different from a city in Kenya, which is no different from a city in the United States of America, or any other major city. Major cities are just fighting for money, getting money zones. That's where you go. That's where all they really at. But if you really want to observe the culture, you got to go to the countryside.
Well, I can share my vision of Africa with you guys. This is what I intend to do, regardless if there's infrastructure there or not. I'm planning to do a city tour of Africa. It's on my goal list from Addis Ababa to Nairobi, down to Joburg, then up to Lagos, round to Accra, then up to Rabat, Casablanca, and then to Cairo, then back to Addis. So that's the tour around Africa. It would be great if there's a railway that way. If there's rail, I can see the countryside while on that tour. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. In terms of Jamaica, it is what you get. It's sun, sand, beach, music, parties, rivers, waterfalls, everything, just a little paradise. So I would encourage everyone to come, probably multiple times if you want. You will have a good time as a tourist in Jamaica. Goes without saying. There's not much more to it than that. You will have to experience it for yourself to know what it is like.
Okay, so real quick, because we are approaching the 2 hour mark, and we had two topics that needed to be addressed. So just real quick, it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. What should tourists be on lookout for when in Africa? And I guess we can table this discussion, seeing as how we are almost there. We can because we don't even have. I would love to hear from, like, our African
Sir
folk.
Nick, hold on, wait, man. I mean, let me speak, because they can They can get their Fufu or Ugali wireless hooked up whenever they hook it up. But this
Oh,
part,
golly, wireless.
this part right here, it's basically for the brothers that are going there, right? So
Okay.
and I've been there, usual business has been there, and I don't know about you, Big Dream, but we do
Nah, not
have
yet, not yet.
we have but you have been in, you do live in a country to where if you are not like street savvy, you will get got. So
Yeah,
you
you have
might
to be
be able,
vigilant and street smart for real. Yeah.
yeah, you might be able to share in this. And if you gentlemen, because this conversation has been fine, you know what I'm saying? If we can just spare 30 more minutes, I'm begging you. Let's do it.
I'm down. Go ahead, because I know usual business got to he has some
Yeah,
business things.
I'll stay for another
So
25. Yeah, since the vibe is vibing, bro, I'm gonna stay for another
Right,
25 and grace y'all with my presence, man.
right.
hilarious,
But but
hilarious.
but let me
Great
go
stuff.
into what Sir Nick was talking about, right? As far as the jumping, the country jumping, right? Visiting and seeing what's going on. So I want to do that as well, but I know I'm the oldest guy on this right here, but you know what I'm saying, I'm pretty, I'm youthful at heart. Let me put it like that. So I want to
Oh, old motherfucker crew.
yeah, what I want to do is when I go and to other countries and experience it, I want to bring my significant other with me, you know. So I am going over there to Nairobi to set up roots, right? And the reason why is because um we have a purpose, me and Irene, right? And she knows what I want. Just like I put in the chat, I already have careers picked out for those individuals that are going to be my children. Now, those four careers can be interchangeable. And we did more talking about that. Of course, they're going to be in sports and other things of that nature. I'm learning more about soccer, and I'm learning more about lacrosse and rugby, because those are things that are being explored inside of Nairobi at this moment. We're talking about children 15 years from now, right? So, with that being said, when it comes to the continent of Africa, I want to explore it as well, but I don't want to have to go through the extreme expenses of going to Kenya, going back to America, then going to Ghana, then going back to America, then going to Tanzania, then going back to America, going to South Africa, then going back to America. I want to be able to hop around while I'm there. So it's more cost efficient. The way me and my the way like my stuff is set up so methodical. I plan on getting married, plan on having one kid while we're in the state, plan on moving to the career that's going to uproot me and my property to Ghana, I mean to Kenya. And if they say, okay, Mr. You need to Mr. Mental Agility, you have to go back to America, I'm gonna say no, I'm gonna just go ahead and resign. Because all my property, all my belongings are gonna be there. My mother-in-law is gonna live with us. It's non-negotiable, because I need somebody there to foster our children while we are taking those trips and seeing the world. Because I don't want to see the world by myself. I want to see the world with the person I love. That's all I got.
Okay, I can definitely say me, I totally agree with you on at least on that point. Fostering is the correct skill set that you can actually leave and go to different countries. For me, you know, like he said, Kenya is his stopping ground, so he's right next to Uganda. So you know that's the little brother to to Kenya. So I'm right across the pond, right from him, literally and
Mhm.
figuratively, right across the pond from this man. So for me, I went in there for different business ventures also. But I'm looking for this, like I said, the correct skill set and the correct land mass. I'm not gonna get there enough land so that when I fully I can't say retire because I'm not near retirement age, but when I fully expat over to Uganda permanently, I want to make sure I can still leave the same comforts of America in Uganda. Like I still want to be able to have like a nice, decent TV, nice washing machine, water that work with the right amount of pressure. Cause I ain't doing that half-ass water pressure. They doing it in Africa. I'm sorry. We gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do on that one. But yeah, cause I want to come down there, have my first child also. So I don't know necessarily if I want to have my mother-in-law directly, but from when I talk to a lot of the people there in Uganda, they have an extended family. So I don't mind, looking out for the family that I will be technically married into, make sure they good. For me personally, I think that's a better way because if I marry in, I'm gonna make sure, I'm taking care of you, make sure your nieces and nephews or uncle necessarily they can at least find something to do. I ain't gonna leave them out there high and dry. So for me, that's my main goal and that's my ideal of what I want to do. I'm not gonna say the business because I want everybody to hit my business when I get up there. But definitely that's what I'm getting into, at least to that limit.
No, I'm not trying to support no men, but I will give them business opportunities if the business that I'm trying to develop takes off. The
Oh
the, the
yeah.
unfortunate thing is that my significant other mother is a single mom, you know. So I can't leave her out I can't leave her out high and dry. And like when I say it's non-negotiable, she's not going to be out there trying to fend for herself because right now she's 55 years old. And by the time I get there, she'll be 57 going on 58. So no, you're not going to be out there fending for your own. And
Yeah,
they
that's
don't have social security there.
that's smart business. That's good family business because, like, the culture that we came to know is that, hey, when you reach at a certain age, you leave your parents' house and go fend for yourself. That's not how all groups do it. You have some groups of people that have four generations in the same house, and that way they consolidate their expenses. So that you're solving a lot of problems. You're solving your need of having someone to give care to your children, and you're solving the need to make sure your in-law is also taken care of. So it's just good business and good common sense, really.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's one thing I'm actually kind of learning. For me, I don't mind necessarily. You say you ain't employing no people. Me personally, I employ your nephew, your
No,
uncle,
I'll
whoever.
employ you. I'll employ you. But what I'm saying is that I'm not going to take care of a person that has meat swinging between their legs.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, we don't do no free rides around here. But for me personally, I don't mind employing nobody because like if I come to you and I see you got a particular skill set, you got a particular drive, I'm definitely going to necessarily. Me personally, I like a person with drive. You got drive, then I'll work with you because if somebody got the will, they will definitely find a way. Because when that way opens up or is there, they're going to look for it. They're definitely going to look for it. So for me personally. I that's what I'm doing when I get there. Nigga. All people who are welcome and who have the drive to come, hey, come under my banner, and I definitely will help push you forward. But like, that's my way of doing things. But I'm a little different than the average, let's say, continental African though.
I mean, if I'm in Africa and I decide to stop in Nairobi or Kampala and I can like help out on the farm or in IT or whatever you guys doing for the month and make more money so I can go down to Cape Town, not an issue with me because I'm just trying to accumulate enough resources that when I'm ready to do my tour, I can just do the tour in one go without having to be back and forth like what mental agility is saying. So that way it's more economical and definitely doing it with my significant other that way it will be more enjoyable. So I've watched some travel programs and I've seen where it can be done on a budget and I
Yeah,
don't need anything fancy, so it will be great.
I'm gonna tell you the easy way if you gonna try to do that is get you a van, trick out a van, and just travel. I'm gonna give you the honest God honestly think that's probably the best thing you could probably do
Wait a minute.
because
It's not
You
practical
said
around
trick out a
Africa, bro.
van.
yeah,
It's
I,
not
I,
practical around
How'd you
Africa.
go
It's
get
not
that van
practical.
from Jamaica to Ghana?
Exactly. It's not
hold
practical.
on. Like this is me talking out of the quote unquote you live on the continent, you already got your thing set up kind of mindset, right? So I understand that for him, he can't just trick out his van in person and drive it down to the continent. I know that, but I'm saying like so that's probably like another business venture for like right for people who want to travel, right? You get you a small van company, you trick it out necessarily get 20, 30 vans, then you let people drive around, let's say from Uganda, or you route now Nairobi, go down to, let's say, Joburg and come back, right? And then something like that's a business venture that not only you can apply there on the continent, but you can make that into a whole, like you said, a whole business.
Sounds risky though. How you to get insurance? Because to have your van leave Uganda to South Africa, bro, you won't get it back. I used to be in the business of rentals. You don't always get back rentals, so that's a very tricky business.
Ooh, yeah.
Not even that. Not even that. When you cross borders and when you come through security and when you come through police that are like, grease my pockets and I'll let you
Exactly.
pass. You know what I'm saying? But I want to touch on this right here because this topic right here is near and dear to my heart, right? The one that's going across the screen. When I went to Nairobi, I felt love. Like I felt love, man. It was like none other, right? Um, as soon as I open my mouth, right, people pay attention, because they hear the English. They speak English there, but it's not like this, right? And there was a situation when I let my guard down, right? And two dudes that I did not have a conversation with or anything, they didn't know me from a can of paint. I messed around and I put my phone in my back pocket and they rolled up on me and they snatched my phone out my back pocket and they drove off. So, like, I think letting tourists know what to look out for when they're in certain countries inside of Africa is very important.
Okay, I mean, when it comes to that, I think street smarts it should be something you learn eventually. But I understand not everybody gets that level of education. Some people are just so well sheltered that they don't have to have these kind of issues. But for me, I think if you can survive in most major cities on any side of the world, you can survive in most cities, right? Any place else. I don't think Africa is any more dangerous than anyone in any other country. Actually, I think it's probably, if you had to honestly ask, I think it's one of the safer ones compared to the majority of cities that's on the planet. Um, yeah, like when I went there, yeah, somebody tried to snatch my phone in downtown Kampala, right? But luckily enough, the guy was the traffic was bad and I was fast as hell, so I was able to get my phone back. So that's one thing. But yeah, don't hang out, don't have your new iPhone X 13 plus or 15 plus hanging out the door, hanging out the window. Please don't do that. Don't be on the boat with your phone looking starlight or looking like a little starlight, not knowing where you at. You got to know the neighborhoods also. Please do that. And I actually tell people when you go to some of these places, it's better to dress like the locals than to dress like how you dress at home, because get you some, what is it, some work boots, or maybe I don't know what it's like, the long little what is it? I think like farmer boots. I can't remember the correct name, but like the little rubber boots. Get you some of those, some black jeans or some regular jeans and a t-shirt. No one's really gonna notice you outside of that. Long as you don't really speak too much or do anything that's, too far out of the ordinary, most people are not really going to mess with you because they got their own life they live in. They're trying to buy their own goods. They got to pay their own school fees for their own kids. So it's not much of an issue. But if you didn't make yourself look too appetizing, yeah, you definitely will get robbed any place.
So let me ask you
Yeah.
this right here. When they tried to snatch your phone away, was it in your hand? Were you walking? Were you sitting inside of a Uber and they tried to reach inside the window and snatch your phone?
Nah. It wasn't even like that, man. I literally had my phone out, and I was just taking pictures, right? I'm just, one of the girls said, "Okay, I'm taking." She told me, the girl I was with, she told me, "Do not take pictures downtown." Me, I'm hard headed, so I did it anyway, right? So I
That's
did
the
it anyway.
first. That's the first rule. Always just listen to the locals. Always
Always
listen to
listen
the
to locals,
locals.
right?
Yeah.
So they came, they snatched my phone, they tried to drive by and snatch my phone. But apparently, I mean, you got two dudes on a motorcycle,
On a boater. Yep.
boater, right? But apparently these dudes couldn't drive too well. So I think I was their first real live theft because they didn't know what they was doing. So they were practicing on me and I was able to practice to get my phone back. So,
So did the phone actually come out of your hand?
oh yeah, it was out of my hand, but I mean, I chased them for about a good half a block, bro. A good
Wow.
a good half a block, because I'm telling you, hey, them track days are still they still here now. Just trust me. So I checked it for a good old block, and I was able to head him off at one of the curves and get my phone back. So
Mhm.
I mean, when I snatched it back from him, he didn't really fight me too bad for it. He kind of just looked at me, and I was like, yeah, you don't want this kind of thing. So, but but like I
Okay.
said, that's most places. You can get your phone snatched at the baby concert down here
Yeah,
in Atlanta. So,
Are you sure
it
about
happens.
that?
oh hell yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
Because
because
for
mm,
me, hold on, wait. In the States, and I'm in the area I'm in is a very highly populated, highly congested area. There might be a lot of Caucasians here. I always put my phone in my back pocket. And it's like my phone wasn't in my hand. If my phone was in my hand and they tried to snatch it as I was taking a picture, they wouldn't have got the phone out of my hand. But they caught me lacking because my phone
yeah,
was in my back
Malcolm was kind
pocket.
of
And I thought my shirt covered the back end of my pockets, but it didn't.
Nah, my situation was different. Like
nah.
my
You guys probably just sloppy. You guys probably both of you sloppy. Mental agility should not have had his phone in his back pocket and think that people wouldn't know
Right.
that it was there. And then usual business should have hold on tighter to his phone. But what I do
yeah,
is this:
I had a baby
never
grip
put your
on it.
phones in your pockets. Never put your phone in your pockets. Always put your phone in a inside jacket pocket or keep it in a bag. Even though they do cut the purses of women, so you still have to be cognizant. Always just be cognizant of the fact that someone might steal your phone. Back in when I was going to high school in Jamaica, people would like hit you on your left side and steal something out of your pocket on the right side. So while you're looking at your left side, something's actually missing. It's like misdirection, right? So you'll have to be cognizant of when you're walking through a crowd, any form of crowd, or being close to anyone. Always have in mind that you can be picked. That's the first way you can put up your guard. The second thing is to put your phone in a place where they will have difficulty reaching it. Those are my two advices for that. Otherwise, when you're going into certain communities, know where you're going. That's a very important thing. Don't just wander around not knowing your destination.
Surroundings.
Yeah,
You gotta know
exactly.
your
And
surroundings, man. You gotta know your surroundings.
not only that too, when you're taking a taxi, they will basically bring you somewhere far that's not your destination, and then you'll basically be lost and they will overcharge you. That's something else that you'd have to be cognizant
Yes.
of. Yeah.
So what I've been told, that's more so in Uganda than Kenya
Oh,
because
I was talking about Jamaica actually, so it's everywhere, bro.
oh, okay, because it's like inside of Kenya, when you use Uber or their competitor is Bolt, they don't have Lyft there. So they have Uber and Bolt. It's pinpoint. And then not only is it pinpoint, you can track it on your phone, right? But I've heard in Uganda, and that's what turned me off on Uganda, is that oftentimes you will get an Uber and you still have to give directions to the driver of where to go.
I'm gonna tell you this much, right? Like Uber, you gotta say you're not you. I'm gonna put this right. The Uganda is like the wild wild west before the United States finally quote unquote got its thing right. That's Uganda right now currently. So it's in the stage of like being what it wants to be, right? Like I said, it's the little brother to Kenya. Like it's getting its way there, right? So for me, that's an ideal place. Like I can sit up there, set up my own roots, and fight and make my own dream. I got that trailblazer spirit inside of me, right? That entrepreneur, wild west kind of mentality. So I don't mind going to a place that's a little different and making my bones about it. But if you're talking about the ease of access and just getting things done, Kenya is definitely a place. But in like Uganda, you got to know where you're going. You got to know the street. You got to know right there by the
Yeah.
by the local street name also, and also with the what is it, the landmarks around it. So those are the things you got to know in Uganda. Like it's traveling like you back in the day almost. So
To what you're saying, mental agility with the point to point on the thing on the Uber, that's good, that's all good and well, and I applaud that. But the thing is, sometimes these taxi drivers say, "Oh, it's a one way, or you can only enter from that." So you have to basically
have an idea of the place as well to be sure and be confident that listen, this is my get off point. Stop here or take that route. But sometimes in reality, you can't necessarily take the route either because of you're going to a volatile community or there is a state of emergency or something is going on where you won't travel that route. So it's good to actually know the route
But what
as
I'm
well.
saying is this right here. What I'm saying is this right here. Um, it's not that volatile in Nairobi in particular, right? You know where to go. You know if you're going to Westgate, if you're going to Westlands, if you're going to Riverside, yeah, you know, right? And it's very developed, right? If you're like somebody that, and then when I say like if you're somebody there that's spending real money, we talking about $61 a night. You know what I'm saying? Which to an American, that's not really a lot of money, you know. And then when you go into Uganda, it's less than that because I've seen the exchange rate. My significant other even told me if she could take her job to Uganda, she would be rich. You know what I'm saying? And not to give um much information out, but the girlfriend allowance I give her for the month, and I only give it to her 2 times a month, is almost the same as what she gets paid for the month. That's not a lot of money because I'm not balling like that. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the first one to tell you. So with that being said, when it comes to um transit in Uganda and transit in Kenya, it shouldn't be that much different since they're so close together, but it is vastly different. And I'm gonna land the plane here. I want to know, and this is to you, Big Dream. I want to know how far behind is Jamaica as far as economic infrastructure to the US is. It is.
All right. Well, with Jamaica, Jamaica is basically we have like 5 levels of Jamaica. You can be extremely poor, or you can be as well off as the most well off person in America. In terms of the overall infrastructure, there's a highway that runs around Jamaica that covers all the tourist areas. In the interior, there are very bad roads, just as the my colleagues from Africa would have seen. There's a lot of potholes. We don't have a lot of dirt roads anymore, but in terms of Wi-Fi, we all have Wi-Fi. Do we all have access to Wi-Fi? Not necessarily because you have to pay for it, but we have fast Wi-Fi. We have great roads for doing businesses if you have it like that. But the thing in Jamaica is that everyone does not have access to that. If you want to come to Jamaica and have the
Wait,
most
wait, wait, when
beautiful,
you say nobody has access to it, are you
not
saying they don't have
everyone.
access to it because it's not free?
Yeah, it's not free.
Well, it's not free for most people in America either, unless
Yeah,
you
but
have an Obama phone.
mhm. I mean, like some in Jamaica, it's like this. Like you have a black economy, like an underground economy, where people just have access to a lot of finances.
Yeah.
So they need to solve that. But like money is not really an issue for a lot of people in Jamaica. It's like more financial management. So they will make a lot of money, but then they will just party it out and then complain that they're poor. So
Mm.
I don't think the issue is them not having the financial resources or the ability to earn. It's just how they store those resources. A lot of people will tell you differently, but I see it for myself. The people that say they're poor in Jamaica are people that have a big flat screen TV in a very small house, parking a Benz where there's no place to park it, and going to parties every day. So those are the so-called poor people in Jamaica.
Usual business know about that because they go down all the time down there in GA. Because I used to
Exactly.
live down there in Columbus. Now,
And they're
so would
never
you
too
say
poor
so
to have
so
parties.
would you say it's about 3 or 4 years behind America, or like 8 to 10 or 15 years behind America?
I mean, Jamaica will always lag America because Jamaica is like tied to America's umbilical cord. Let me give you an example. I'm here in Jamaica right now and I'm speaking on a American platform, right? So basically, every opportunity that you can have in America, I can have the same because we in Jamaica, we stay here and we do business outsourcing for American companies. While they might pay us less than they will pay the American citizens, we're basically up to the same best practices that you would use in America, and we even come up with some strategies and how to make those companies better. And then we communicate a lot with the Jamaican diaspora in America. So as America moves, we will be there.
So does that have anything to do with the exchange rate to why the Americans pay you a little bit less?
Yeah, to some extent, but we don't look at it like that. We look at it like the cost of living. So in what you make in America, we can use a fraction of that and live the same lifestyle, if not better lifestyle than what you're living in America. Because think about it, we don't have heating. Right now, we need
Yeah.
ACs because of climate change, but we don't need heating. We don't pay rent, or the greatest expense we have is like gas and electricity. We don't pay a lot for
What do you
water
mean? What do you mean you don't pay rent? What do you mean by that?
because we own our homes. A lot of us own our homes
Okay.
in Jamaica because we're given homes from our family and stuff like that. So we don't
But
pay. And even when we're
there's only so much room because Jamaica's an
all right,
island, correct?
not really. Jamaica is really big. There's a lot. If you come to Jamaica, you'll see a lot of space in Jamaica and a lot of room for opportunity.
It's
So
bigger
that's
than you
not the issue
think.
right now. That's not the that. Yeah,
Population
it's
is
bigger than
bigger
you
than
think.
you think it is.
It's way
Bigger
bigger
than
than you think.
bigger than Grenada.
It's the biggest English-speaking island in the Caribbean.
Okay.
It's
So
one of the second
Grenada
biggest
is
islands
also,
in the
yeah.
Caribbean. I think it's the second
No, it's
biggest.
like the third. It's the third. It's the third biggest island. So it's after Cuba and Hispaniola, whereas Haiti and Domrep, it's Jamaica is about the same size as Puerto Rico, slightly bigger than Puerto Rico.
Oh,
And
okay.
Puerto Rico has more people than Jamaica.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. I thought it was the
Yeah.
second, but I was off by one. But like I said, it's compared to the size of it and the population, they got plenty of. They actually got room to grow. Technically, they got
Trust
room.
me, we can have probably 10 million more people. That's not the issue. That's not the issue at all. Some people, like, but for example, if you're in New York paying rent, the rent that you pay for 1 month in New York can probably pay rent anywhere in Jamaica for the entire year.
Okay. So hey, usual business. You was there. You was there for like you said almost 6 months. How many years behind do you think Uganda is compared to United States?
Oh, if you talking about like this, okay, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be as honest as I possibly can.
Economically.
Economically, ah,
From what you've seen.
from what I've seen, economically, they can be that. They can be that country. They could probably be there in 20 years if they actually really put their nose to the grind. I'm probably, so I'm gonna say 30, 40 years. And
There you go.
hard work.
That's what I was looking for because I know Kenya is in 1995 right now. And
Yeah,
I know Uganda is behind Kenya.
yeah, definitely. If I was to say Uganda is like United States probably in the 1930s.
Ooh,
1930s, 1940s, right? Early
1930s,
1940s.
bro. 1930s.
So what would you say about Jamaica usual business?
In my personal opinion,
Yeah.
it's like I would say it's like the 1970s, 1980s of what like the height of America.
Okay.
Interesting. You know why? You know why? The
Why?
CIA, mm, the CIA really messed us up in the 80s. So Jamaica stopped growing then. So probably that's why.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The
you say
CIA
the
is really
19 so you saying before the abolishment of slavery. Is that's what you saying Uganda is right now before the abolishment of slavery?
okay. I'm gonna say okay. Maybe I'm judging that a little too harsh. Okay, I'm gonna say 1940, 1950s, bro. I'm a really
Okay, so Jim Crow.
in my eyes though, right? But because when I look at the structure of the families, I'm looking at the overall like how you when it comes to getting medicine there, just getting like basic things. I'm gonna say they're about 40, 50 years behind, right? In that regard, because you don't have that many chemical plants right there, right? Same thing that you got in America at that time. They didn't have that many chemical
So
plants.
you say you're saying like about 50 or 40 years behind. That's like 1970.
Okay, maybe 1960, maybe like 19. I'm gonna say in my eyes, I'm saying 1950. Then because 1950, 1960, in my opinion, because
Yeah,
they
it
didn't
looks
do it
about
in
right.
the
Yeah.
1970s. I would not put them 1970s. No, 1960s would probably be the better word for it. Then
So who do you think is who do you think is keeping the boot on the neck of the Ugandans?
Don't have me that don't bro.
I'm asking you,
I got to
man. I'm
live there. You
asking
don't,
you
bro. I
because
got
you've
to live
been
there.
I
You
wouldn't
there.
say
don't, bro.
because of the government, bro.
And the only reason why I'm saying this is because O'Shea has considered moving out of Uganda into Kenya several times. And if you pay attention to his Week Pack podcast, his Kinganda podcast, he's starting to do more videos in Kenya than in Uganda. And when he goes by himself.
Let me
So
tell
he
you
is
this,
a
man.
he's becoming a journeyman. He's trying to become a pioneer.
Let me
So I'm
tell you this,
saying,
bro. When
mhm,
it comes to Uganda, Uganda got that problem. It's his own worst enemy thing. Like, um, when if you wanted to say who got everything at their fingertips and don't use it, Uganda got everything at its fingertips and don't use it. What I
everything
mean,
like what?
when they talk about hydropower, the Nile River is right there, bro. It's the beginning of the Nile River. So when I take the Nile River is one of the biggest and most powerful river on in the world, right? So that country should not have to be you be selling oil. I mean, they got oil, right? But they shouldn't have to be mining oil to run things. They should be a completely hydro power nation. They have the amount they have the capabilities to do so, but they sell the electricity to different nations like Tanzania. They give some to Kenya. So I'm willing to understand like and in some ways why it's not developing because it's developing as a whole, not as an individual, right? Because if you just did Uganda just said, all right, I'm just doing it by myself and it says screw everybody, a lot of other countries over there would be in dire need because Tanzania doesn't really have none of the development or none of the hydropower like Uganda or let's say Kenya may have when it comes to oil, right? They do have better farmland; it's a bigger land mass, right, than Uganda, and I think about close to the same size as Kenya. So, in a sense, I feel like Uganda is going to make its money on the back end, not the front end, because when you look at it, it's perfectly set up on the map. You can go between every country you can go, but you got to go through was it Uganda to get there, right? If you want to go into the far Congo, you got to go to Uganda. If you want to go to what is it, South Sudan, you got to go through the Uganda. If you want to go to Tanzania, you basically have to go through Uganda, right? So in that sense, it's the middle ground for everybody to go to. So that's where they make majority of their money. But that's just in my opinion. You know, like I said, I live there. Y'all don't. So you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I about to say because when you brought in Tanzania, I I agree they're about 50 years behind. They still have a lot of dirt roads, you know, and I just hate to say it, man. In 2023, that's not acceptable. And then you hear other people on other shows talking about, oh, it's the culture. They move slow. Well, god damn it, how long you gonna move slow, man?
I mean,
Because it comes to a point where you can't just sit back and let the rest of the world pass you by because they're going to come into your country and they're going to pillage you of your resources.
true, true, and that's my mindset about it. But like I said, that's my mindset. But I want to say I appreciate it, Nick. But man, I gotta go out. I gave y'all extra 30 minutes.
Yeah,
So
man, it's all good.
I love y'all though, boys. But I got some other business to handle. Jamo, mental agility. See what I'm saying to all the people that's gonna watch this in the back chat in the back room and later on. So I appreciate it. I'm gonna head out here though, but when it comes to Tanzania could probably be one of the greatest. It could be the Kenya of Africa. It could be the second Kenya of Africa, right? But with that lack of development, colonization, and that love for the Arabs and stuff, that it's gonna be a slow turn for them, man, because they gotta let go of some of that old stuff to become who they need to be. You gotta let go of that food that's in your hand so you can grab some more food. That's the Kenyan problem. I'm not the Kenyan problem, but that's the Tanzanian problem. But like I said, that's just my perspective as the outsider. I can't say because I didn't live there for no more than like a couple of days, but that was just from what I saw. That's it.
All right. Well, 2 hours and 30 some minutes. I think that's as good. That's as good as discussion as any. Um, once again, I want to thank all of the panelists who are here and who came up earlier and gave their perspectives, their opinions, and just all out input on the matter. This is all what educational, informative. We're learning. We're learning from one another. So let me cam up real quick before I. We're
Hey,
learning.
you
We're
only
learning.
got
So
you only got two people on the panel, so I hope you allow us to have some final thoughts because
no, that's how, and we're gonna end this every show that we do. We're gonna do a round table final thought type deal. So definitely got. You know what? Go ahead and take it away. You go ahead and start. You go ahead and empty the clip.
all right, great. So I mean, I'm gonna say this right. You know what brought me to this space, and I greatly appreciate you for sparking the conversation and saying, "Hey, we need to create this, right? Because other people need to hear it, right?"
Mhm.
And it's gonna be the good and the bad and the ugly, you know. But these conversations need to get out there because when it comes to brothers like you and me and Big Dream and Usual Business, we are we are trying to come to the continent with a plan and build something. And we have to be the pioneers, right? And with the pioneers, we get a lot of stuff wrong. But, you know, like we are there to get stuff wrong so the people that come behind us get stuff right, you know.
Mm.
And I feel like the continent of Africa is the way of the future, you know. So at the end of the day, I feel that people need to understand that there are opportunities in Africa, but you need to be able to harness that opportunity. What will benefit you? What will benefit the people around you, the society? How are you going to employ people to where they can provide a life and feed their families? You can't come in here with a mindset that you're going to get rich. You need to come in here with a mindset that I'm going to help others. And that's all I got.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well said. I mean, mental agility touch on everything. There's not much to say. It was a great
Right.
discussion. And I think that's a wrap for this week from me, and visit Jamaica, guys. Jamaica is fun.
Yeah, I've never been, so I definitely do plan on checking Jamaica out sooner than later. So, but with
Big
that being
Dream.
said,
Hold on, wait, Big Dream,
go ahead. Go
right?
ahead.
It seems like Jamaica is more fun for the women than the men. Is that contradictory to what social media is showing us?
I mean, let me tell you, it just depends on what you consider fun. I don't necessarily go to parties and stuff. I just make my own fun. So if you listen, Jamaica is just fun for anyone that wants to make it fun for themselves, bro. That's how I see it. You can be in Jamaica and be miserable, and you can be in Jamaica and be living a great life. Just have money. Jamaica will be equally fun for you. You know, that's how I see
So
it.
should a black man come to Jamaica and live that shata lifestyle?
No, just to come to Jamaica and live the life that you want to live. You to
Trying to
come
go
to
to the jet.
Jamaica, build your house, and live how you want to live. If you want to live like a shatter, then you pay shatter consequences. If you want to live like a top G, come and live like a top G. Just come to Jamaica.
Okay. Leave the water, leave the what?
And on that note, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Again, thank you to the panelists for fostering such great, in-depth, and educational, and informative discussion. We will be back with another heater next Sunday, same time. Um, Subscribe, comment, like, dislike. Just do whatever you need to do to put us in the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? And just support the channel, support us, support your fellow man, if you will. That being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Mental Dreams, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Peace.
All right.
Out.